complaining about Joseph Boca for a very long time. But Joseph Boca is being used by people who are around him, people that don't like him, people that hate him, but they're only using him for their own benefit. And what I am going to do and continue to do here is to ensure that we bring everything to reality, to let you guys know that people don't love Joseph Boca. They are doing more harm to Joseph Boca than the favor they are telling the Liberian people. So yeah, what happened here this morning, folks? So on my show today in Liberia, do you know that most of the people on the ground, they are actually being misled? Today, people were calling onto the show. The photos that we are seeing on Facebook, the people on the ground, most of the callers, they had not seen that photo or those photos of Joseph Boca coming from the hospital. So when they call on the show, oh, the papi, all right, the papi this. I said, but have you guys seen the updated or the recent photo of Joseph Boca? They couldn't answer the question. Some of them said, no, we have not seen it. I said, I see why these guys are making the greater ass out of our people back there. They shoot everything from them. Those of you that listen to the show this evening, I hope you're listening to the show again. And
I'm not just an ordinary person in our country. I built my reputation over the years. I don't think it's rare for any journalists, because they have freedom of press, to just write anything out of it. It's a very unfortunate side.
Ambassador, I think the story you are talking about was in the Front Page Africa, and it has to do with one Mr. James Bestman, who lives in the United States, and the report is that you were on the premise of Mr. James Bestman's house when U.S. authorities raided the place and arrested him allegedly for money laundering and drugs. Did you know Mr. Bestman, and were you on the premise?
Yes, I've been knowing Mr. Bestman for almost 20 or some more years. We have a very good relationship. There is no time that I witnessed a drug raid or money laundering raid with FBI and what have you. What happened there was I was on my way to Minnesota to the convention, and I decided to pass to James because he should have been part of those who are trying to watch the convention. And when I got to the place 9 o'clock coming from New York, through Philadelphia, when I pulled into the garage in the driveway, Mr. James came down the stairs, and I saw 2 officers serving a warrant that they needed to go come with them. Well, I was there by my car because I just arrived, and they asked me questions. I got my ID card, and the guy asked me to wait right there, and he called the federal office and I called my name, and they ran my ID card and they got information on me, and they said, thank you very much, and then I asked the guy, I said, what happened? He said he didn't know. He just, all you know is a federal case, and you have a warrant for James. And then we laughed about it. I told him, but then I came the wrong time. But again, James, I will ask you this question. There will be no way in this America, this a law-abiding country, that will arrest somebody for drugs and then let them go. Why they will let me go? Is there any dispensation for me to be caught in a drug raid and they just let me go like that?
Did your party put out a statement suggesting that perhaps this whole incident was intended to frame you? And do you believe that somebody was trying to frame you if you say you were not into drugs?
James, to say that somebody will frame me, I don't think I'll be doing myself good. But I think I arrived the wrong time that Jim was served with a warrant. But like I said, I was not arrested, I was not arrested, I was not taken anywhere, My interaction with the officer that was there was 45 seconds, and then I left.
You mentioned Rodney C.A., the journalist who published the initial story about you, not checking his facts or not checking with you. There was some report that we got that he had been threatened either by your supporters because of that story. Is that true?
Well, James, we're talking about journalists that are writing stories that he cannot substantiate. So how can he write a story that is threatening him for all to believe? Because every story he wrote out there, he gets a bunch of fallacies, in his claim and his report. So if he come out to say that CDC official threatened him, and then he put in the newspaper, then it's very unfortunate. because he just lied. And then he's telling people again that they're threatening him. But I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what threat you're talking about because I'm a law-abiding citizen. And I just want to say, just in case his claim that he's saying that it's threatening him, if anybody that knows me, family or friends, or supporters, I don't think that that's the right thing to do to threaten Rodney here because it's just another petty journalist that want to make money and writing a story that he cannot substantiate. But again, my advice to Rodney is that Liberia, we came from a 50-year civil war. This is a time that Liberians get every good information for the benefit of our country and the people to be stable. It's not the time to write things that are not in order.
So, Ambassador, before I let you go, what exactly do you want to leave with your followers? What would you want your followers to know?
Well, I want my followers to know that I'm a clean person. I'm very legit. I have a credibility. I've worked with the United Nations before. I serve as a good ambassador. And I work with the international community. They know my records are clean. There's not time that I ever been even questioned for doing a fraudulent act. Money laundering. I don't understand why the journalists want to write stories and will not substantiate or corroborate his claims against me. As much as I believe in freedom of press, by the end of the day, I think when they bring the news out, there should be news that for the people to have peace because you cannot come and just make stories like that. I'm not just an ordinary person in our country. I built my reputation over the years. I don't think it's rare for any journalists because they have freedom of press to just write anything out of it. It's a very unfortunate side.
Ambassador, I think the story you are talking about was in the Front Page Africa, and it has to do with one Mr. James Bestman, who lives in the United States. And the report is that you were on the premise of Mr. James Bestman's house when U.S. authorities raided the place and arrested him allegedly for money laundering and drugs. Did you know Mr. Bestman, and were you on the premise?
Yes, I've been knowing Mr. Bestman for almost 20 or some years. We have a very good relationship. There is no time that I witnessed a drug raid or money laundering raid with FBI and what have you. What happened there was I was on my way to Minnesota to the convention, and I decided to pass to James because he should have been part of those who are trying to watch the convention. And when I got to the place 9 o'clock, coming from New York, through Philadelphia, when I pulled into the garage, in the driveway, Mr. James came down the stairs, and I saw 2 officers that served him a warrant that he needed to go come with them. Well, I was there by my car because I just arrived, and they asked me questions. I got my ID card, and the guy asked me to wait right there, and he called the federal office, and I called my name, and they ran my ID card, and they got information on me, and they said, thank you very much, and then I asked the guy, I said, what happened? He said, he didn't know, he just, all you know is a federal case, and you have a warrant for James. And then we laughed about it. I told him, but I came the wrong time. But again, James, I will ask you this question. There will be no way in this America, this a law-abiding country, that will arrest somebody for drugs and they let them go. Why they will let me go? Is there any dispensation for me to be caught in a drug raid and they just let me go like that?
Did your party put out a statement suggesting that perhaps this whole incident was intended to frame you? And do you believe that somebody was trying to frame you if you say you were not into drugs?
James, to say that somebody will frame me, I don't think I'll be doing myself good. But I think I arrived the wrong time that Jim was served with a warrant. But like I said, I was not arrested, I was not arrested, I was not taken anywhere, My interaction with the officer that was there was 45 seconds, and then I left.
You mentioned Rodney C.A., the journalist who published the initial story about you, not checking his facts or not checking with you. There was some report that we got that he had been threatened either by your supporters because of that story. Is that true?
Well, James, we're talking about journalists that are writing stories that he cannot substantiate. So how can he write a story that is threatening him for all to believe? Because every story he wrote out there, he just a bunch of fallacies, in his claim and his report. So if he comes out to say that CDC official threatening him, and then he put in the newspaper, then it is very unfortunate because he just lied, and then he's telling people again that they're threatening him. But I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what threat you're talking about because I'm a law-abiding citizen, and I just want to say, just in case his claim that he's saying that it's threatening him, if anybody that knows me, family or friends or supporters, I don't think that that's the right thing to do to threaten Rob this year because he's just another petty journalist that want to make money and writing stories that he cannot substantiate. But again, my advice to Rodney is that Liberia, we came from a 50-year civil war. This is a time that Liberians get every good information for the benefit of our country and the people to be stable. It's not the time to write things that are not in order.
So, Ambassador, before I let you go, what exactly do you want to leave with your followers? What would you want your followers to know?
Well, I want my followers to know that I'm a clean person. I'm very legit. I have a credibility. I work with the United Nations before. I serve as a good ambassador, and I work with the international community. They know my records are clean. There's not time that I ever been even questioned for doing a fraudulent act in the area that I work. So they can trust me, and that's what I can say,
Ambassador, on the lighter side now, the World Cup is beginning in South Africa in a very few days' time. You play the game and you are a student of the game, a teacher of the game. What do you think are Africa's chances?
I just hope that Africa come up great, they prepare well for the World Cup. This is important for us because it's the first World Cup in Africa. So we hope that they do well. I play the game is a game of chance, it's how we prepare. And I'm very fortunate that I will be there, analyzing some games. And I think the most important for the World Cup is that for us to go in and support South Africa, so the World Cup can be great. So those who are coming to Africa will enjoy it so that it can leave a mark.
Ambassador, we do thank you very much for talking with us again.
Well, James, you're welcome anytime.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, and thank you guys so much for the opportunity. Today is Thursday, and I believe today should be the 21st. I stand to be corrected, but I think today should be the 21st. And let me say good morning to every one of you guys. This podcast will be relayed tonight. This podcast will be relayed tonight, this evening. And then on Friday evening, we are going to do a phase 2 of this conversation that I am about to have with you guys out here. So I'd like to say, share the video. This is very, very important. And I think those of you who support CDC, there's nobody know this story better than the president himself. And I would say myself and those who are associated with this story. I think those of you that follow me, and I know people here religiously, among you will stand out to be number one. I think it was last week, I talked about what happened when Mr. Weir, Ambassador Weir, drove from New York through Philadelphia, Delaware, and then went down to Maryland to meet with James best man, and that incident happened. When that incident happened in 2010, before I even start the conversation here, I want you to ask yourself, every one of you guys, where were you when the incident happened? Were you part of that conversation? That is where I would like to start. When the incident that you just listened to from the president when he was ambassador, where were you in 2010 of June when that incident happened? Were you part of the conversation? I guess many of you were not part of the conversation. One, there wasn't an opportunity at that time, such as Facebook, where you could participate. The limited access to information dissemination was nothing but radio. And that's where I come in. You see, remember, 2010, it was next to 2011 when the second round of early election was coming up. Rodney CA was part of the early government in terms of media promotion. They didn't want WEA to win. They wanted to destroy WEA. So they came up with that story. Think about 2017 and the story came out in 2016. Think about 2023 and then the story came out in 2022. The only person that know this story, trust me, that's me. There are multiple people that know this story, but they are not broadcasting today. One is Christian Nelson Nokofo. The second person is Toyoa Harris. Those are the people. The third person is Aseva Togba. I'm giving you names. Because in 2010, we were on Radio LRB discussing the very story. So when I look at people today that don't understand what's going on and you try to buy into the story, it becomes quite unlaughable. But you know why? It's good for CDC. It's good for Joshua. Because right now, there's nobody in the CDC on different talk show that can defend this situation here that Stanton Witherspoon put out yesterday but me. But you know why? I love teaching people unconditionally. I love to clear the scar. I love to clear the way because information is knowledge and knowledge is power. So no matter how CDC try to treat J. Randy here, I'm not doing it for CDC. I'm doing it for the people of Liberia. I'm not doing it for George Weah. I'm doing it for the people of Liberia. Because what I hope to accomplish from here is when you understand what I'm telling you, and then you say, yes, at least I learned the truth from J. Randy. It has nothing to do with the party. But on the other hand, it's good for CDC. And if Stanton can come up with it tomorrow again, so shall it be. Because CDC does not like people who are very honest in disseminating and helping them. I always tell you guys, if Mr. Weah does the right thing, I will come here and defend him. If Mr. Weah do the wrong thing, I will come here and criticize him. And as I start this show this morning, I'm going to criticize George Weah. And I don't give a damn about how you Tunisians feel. Because you know why? You got Liberians, some of them in the country, that are supporting a criminal. A man who, when you just take a name and tap it into Google, you will see fraud and wire fraud associated with that name. But he got people that support him, though. Yes, he got people that support him. Am I wrong here, Manju? He got people that support him. By the time he said, oh, you send me money, the people sending him money. Right? So what will not give him the power to say, let me do XYZ? But you guys will see me sitting down here, posting my cash app, and nobody get it damn. So if I come to provide pro bono services, I got to be straight out and say, CDC, you deserve the bullshit. Because there's nobody right now in CDC that can defend the story here. Nobody. Like I said, where were you in 2010? Because Mr. We had never spoken on the issue before. But Stanton Witherspoon think. And he right. Because Stanton Witherspoon was saying, I said, you know what? That guy they call Jay Randy, he got power. But the people don't value him. So I can push it out there. And nobody can counter it. Nobody can counter it. And Stanton will be right. Because he got people in Liberia that will believe what he's saying. Because they are in majority. I challenge any CDC talk show host today. Michael Gilman was not around. Prince Sherry was not around. Because it was 2010. They were not around. There were no Facebook Live. But we were still here. We were still here. Costa did not even know that story because that story happened right in Maryland. They didn't know that story. Ase Vatokpa, Christian Nokofo, myself, not even George Formula because Formula was living all and he's still in Arizona. But a good for CDC. A good for CDC. But you know why? I will just give you a bullet point of what that story is. But it is a shame for a man like Stanton Witherspoon to go into VOA database and bring an interview that was held on June 8, 2010 at 8 p.m. where Josh Weir decided to clarify what happened on that fateful day. As I told you guys, Josh Weir left from his home in Staten Island and drove because we were aware that he was heading to Florida and drove to go meet James Bestman. Mr. Weir did not know what Bestman was up to here. How many of you guys know today that Stanton Witherspoon was sending fake credentials, fake issues, fake diploma? How many of you guys know? How many of you guys know? Let's say it happened when the FBI went to go arrest him that morning and you were there. How were you going to face that story? That's why Stanton. That's why you see these guys are afraid of Jay Randy because they know Jay Randy got the power to analyze things. When that journalist went to Stanton Witherspoon's house, what if you were there and the FBI show up? You think they will let you walk free? No. All person of interest will be investigated. But Stanton Witherspoon will not tell you. Stanton Witherspoon will not tell you when the FBI arrived there how many people are at your house. But the only thing we can see today, when the journalist went out there, I think Stanton Witherspoon has sent his wife or some type of relative to go and take the trash can off the curb. Because it was on a trash day that day when they got there, right? George Weir and Bestman been friends for a very long time. Whatever Bestman was doing in this country, he was hiding it. Whatever Stanton Witherspoon was doing in this country, he was hiding it from you. How did it come to light? It came to light when the FBI got involved. How many of you guys are afraid of it? Did Benjamin Sanvi, did he know that Stanton Witherspoon was sending fake credentials? Did Kev Hassan know that Witherspoon was sending fake credentials? Did Peabody who worked for the state of New Jersey, they got to do all your background check before they hire you? Do you think if Peabody knew that Stanton Witherspoon was messing the government up. He worked for the state government. You think people were going to be there for that long time? No, it was only when Stanton Witherspoon name came out, and everyone of them started running away. You follow me on this, folks? So we're trying to peel the scale of the fish. When Stanton Witherspoon traveled with those guys to Liberia, how many of you guys knew? Only few of us knew, especially me, when I started checking that man's website. I said something sinister is wrong with the guy's website. I said something sinister is wrong with the guy's website. And that when he went and black me, because he was like, this other one here, he too smart. I can't keep him here. I will black him. Even up to today, I'm still black on Spoon. Because Stanton know that this guy they call Randy, while it is true that he does not have the following, he is one son of a bitch that know how to get on my nerve. And that's what we'll do here today as phase one of our conversation. How many of you guys knew that Stanton Witherspoon was selling fake credentials? Only when the FBI came. And what would have happened if they were having a big party where Benjamin Senvi, Kevin Sam, Termini George, all the crew that used to be in, they at that party dancing. And then the FBI show up. Do you think they will let the guy walk? No. They will see all of them as person of interest, and they will do what in mathematics we call process elimination. They will look at every one of them credentials and question them about any connection, and they will let them go. Keep that in your mind. Let's come to President Weah, then Kennedy Weah. 2010, one more year before the election start. Weah is driving from Staten Island. So let me start to my body. All the time he and the man been together for 20 years. He did not know what that man was up to. Like I always tell my brothers and sisters back home. You know what they always tell me? Oh, the other man come here, he brought buses here, he brought this here. I always tell them, I say, look, in America, you can be whatever you want to be. But what I will tell you, I get up in the morning, I go to work, I get my paycheck. Whatever I get, I share with you people. I don't know how other people getting their money. When Dr. Cassette died, they called me, they said, oh, they said that man there was stealing from the government. I said, thank you. You're learning now because they got social media now. When Stanton Witherspoon news spread, they called me, they said, oh, that's what that man was doing? I said, you got more to learn. Many people, you don't know what people do. When you see people riding NASCAR out here, you don't know how they get in that money. Stanton Witherspoon passing around here, oh, God will bless you, you do that, you do that. That man was stealing in this country to give Liberia money. And that's the man today want to come and question George Weah. I don't give a damn whether Weah call me or not. But what I don't like is lie. And I will not sit down here for somebody that stand on with me to lie to the Liberian people. To lie to the Liberian people. Because he's a criminal. He's a convict. He's going down. His reputation is destroying the country. And he's angry. Stanton Witherspoon is an angry man. In America, when they call you angry man, all the white women and children are scared of you. So Stanton Witherspoon is an angry man. He is an angry man. Because he has done something bad in the country. There's nowhere Stanton Witherspoon can go when they take an ID card. By the time they take an ID card, they put it in the system. The police will hold their gun straight. By the time they put that and Stanton Witherspoon need in the police, in the sense that they will hold their gun. They will say he's a very dangerous person. That's what Stanton is in the country today. He's nobody here. Only Liberian who watch his show made him to be violent. The guy now is psychologically down. He cannot wait for the particular time for him to come on live. Because there's nothing he's doing here right now. There's nothing. Stanton cannot get a job. When he goes to get a job, they run any kind of police background check or even a criminal background check, he will not get a job. The guy is fucked up. Excuse for my French. Stanton Witherspoon is messed up. So he's taking that anger now with the platform he got, taking it against the government of Liberia. I told you guys here one time that Stanton Witherspoon was going to try to destroy Joshua. Mind you, and you saw that video, and maybe this even will play it again. When I saw Stanton Witherspoon behavior, I was like, this guy. When I saw Akara's Graden, when I saw Jefferson Koyi and I said, look at these guys in. These guys are in there. CDC problem is their scariness. Let me put it in the brain way now. Their scariness to reach to people who love them. They think that some of us, when we see George Weah and get George Weah our idea, they think George Weah will say, oh yeah, I like this guy here over you. No. I'm not going anywhere in this country here. I'm right here. I'm not going anywhere. Let me just make that clear to sedition out there that are afraid of some of us because of the power we come with. I'm not going anywhere. If I ever tell you that I'm going to Labrador to go live, I'll be lying to you. They think I experienced in Liberia. My father died at the hand of the rebel. My brother died at the hand of the rebel. I don't see myself going to live to Liberia anymore. I'll be honest with you guys. I can go visit there. But to say I'm packing my load to go live there, it will be very, very hard. I'm saying this to tell you guys that when I come on my platform and want to say things to seditions and people who believe in George Weah, you need to let them know. In 2010, when Mr. Weah left Staten Island and came to Basement, just how he explained the story. The people have already posted to arrest that guy through a warrant. Next thing you know, Mr. Weah just joined in there. And of course, the people looking for ally, they question Mr. Weah. Do you know this man? And the president said, yes, I know him. In fact, let's listen to the president here. I don't want to be the one to talk. Let's listen to the president here.
I'm sure you know me well. I know I got involved in the drugs and the money laundering. I don't understand why the journalists will want to write stories and will not substantiate or corroborate these claims against me. You know, in as much as I believe in freedom of press, you know, by the end of the day, I think when they bring the news out, there should be news out for the people to have peace, because you cannot come and just make stories like that. I'm not just an ordinary person in our country. I built my reputation over the years, you know. I don't think it's rare for any journalists, because they have freedom of press, to just write anything out there, you know. It's a very unfortunate side, you know.
Ambassador, I think the story you are talking about was in the front page Africa, and it has to do with one Mr. James Bestman, who lives in the United States, and the report is that you were on the premise of Mr. James Bestman's house when U.S. authorities raided the place and arrested him allegedly for money laundering and drugs. Did you know Mr. Bestman, and were you on the premise?
James, I've been knowing Mr. Bestman for almost 20 or some more years. We have a very good relationship. There's no time that I witnessed a drug raid or money laundering raid with FBI and what have you. What happened there?
Let me start the thing there, because right now there are a lot of things going on in this story, and I cannot analyze it because, you know, at 10 o'clock I have to get back. I have to get to the office. I just want to give you guys synopsis. Let me ask you guys this question. I asked you guys the first question, right? If you were at Stanton Witherspoon's house when the FBI went to arrest him, you think they will let you walk? No. Since 2010, that incident happened. When you type George Weah's name into the American Google, into the European Google, because Google is a search engine, but most of the specific search engine is limited to region or by continent. When last have you typed in George Weah's name and then go into the federal system and it says George Weah was arrested on drug charges? Let me just ask Liberian the fundamental. Those little guys that be sent on Witherspoon, let me just ask them that question. Go and take George Weah's name, put it into Google, and say George Weah was arrested for drugs in America, and see what Google will give you. Nothing. Number two, the man who is the only African that won the Ballon d'Or and get arrested on drug charges. Did you hear that on BBC? Did you hear that on ESPN? You see the limitation of some of our Liberian brothers and sisters are the reason why some of us today, we are not respected around the world. George Weah, of all people, will be caught into something that it will not go blast. If you listen to him, Jim Butter, you know my repetition. Do you know how extent and deep he's trying to present himself to Jim Butter? George Weah fall down today from any plane. Before 12 this afternoon, it will be on the news. It will be on the news. The point I'm making here, George Weah, according to James Butter, when he arrived, and Mr. Weah said when he arrived, the people were coming down from the main house with the man. And you're like, what the hell going on here? And what did the police do? I mean, what did the FBI agent did? They asked him for his identity. He gave it to them. Did I tell you guys that? When they checked the identity, they were like, oh my God. We are looking at a Hall of Famer here. And they said, sir, I'm so sorry. All your friends will not tell you their dark side. And that's what happened in that story. Since 2010, if you do your background check on George Weah, have you seen anything? Do you know that the FBI briefed every United States president? You think if George Weah had criminal record, you are going to meet Joe Biden under no condition? Because for everyone that Joe Biden meets, the FBI gave that full background of that person. But some of the Liberians, they are just embarrassment here to us. They're not willing to educate themselves, but they are willing to entertain themselves with lies from people. Stanton Witherspoon is in New Jersey. That man cannot cross to go into Philadelphia. He cannot cross to go into Delaware. Let Stanton Witherspoon get into Delaware and say, I'm in Delaware. I want to see that video. Let him get into Delaware and say, I'm in Delaware. Let him get to Pennsylvania and say, I'm in Pennsylvania. That man is homebound. Like I said, let Stanton get one day in his car and put the phone on and say, gentlemen, let me here traveling. I'm going to this state, I'm going to this state. He can't do that. Because he got a gag order and he has a tracker. They call on him every day to make sure that he's to that location. Does he tell you guys that? Stanton Witherspoon has to call in every day to let his lawyer know, to let the local authority know that this is where he is. Has he told you guys? When you listen to George Weah, he explained everything that happened to VOA. He explained everything that happened the very day he went over there. My third question today. Remember the first one. When Stanton Witherspoon got arrested, if you are going to be there, they're going to question you, right? Yes. The second question, do you think a George Weah had gotten arrested? You are not going to get evidence today? My third question here, why Stanton Witherspoon cannot call Jim Botte and have an interview with Jim Botte and let he tell you guys what happened to his part of story? Why Stanton Witherspoon cannot call Jim Botte and tell Jim Botte about his part of story? He will not do that. But Stanton Witherspoon know that some of our Liberian brothers and sisters here, they are freaking stupid. And that's why he ride on them. And this is where I disagree with Sedition. CDC don't like people who are very strong, because some of them are afraid that when they take some of other jobs we are, they will not get job, they will not get favoritism. But I got news for you guys. I'm sitting in my car, I'm going to start work 10 o'clock. By 2:30, I'm out. Not that I don't want to work in Liberia. I can work in Liberia. But the little thing that I'm doing, I'm grateful to God. But what I will not accept is for somebody to come and lie on somebody that I care for. Like for George Weah. That man and us grew up in a disenchanted community, in a disenchanted society, and he managed to make someone up proud today. He managed to make someone up proud today. And the story that is being told out there, the man who played the audio cannot even interpret what Mr. Weah was saying over there. The man come to America, he see people here, the CIA headquarters, he visited the CIA headquarters, that the kind of man, when the people go through George Weah profile, have you ever seen anything that say, oh, he was arrested in the United States for drugs? George Weah was in the wrong place at the wrong time. That's what happened. There's absolutely nothing. So why the purpose of Stanton bringing that video up? Because Stanton wants you to understand that he is not the only crook. That the picture he's trying to paint. He's trying to take the Liberian that follow him mind away from his criminal behavior. And he wants to find somebody to put it on. But it's not going to work. All I ask you guys is to share the video here. That Stanton Witherspoon is a very dangerous person. He's a bad influence. And nobody like him. People cannot allow their children to go around Stanton Witherspoon in the country here. Nobody can do business with Stanton Witherspoon in this country. Because he is a criminal. A man who went to the court and said, I'm guilty. I was stealing in this country. But he is yet to call on Jim Botte. He is yet to call on Jim Botte. Stanton will interview everybody to tell their story. But the few Liberians that behind Stanton, they cannot even say, but Stanton, when will you tell all your part of story? Like President Weah can say, when will you learn to tell all your part of story, Stanton? He will never do that. Because that story is so bad. It will put you in a worse condition. This man got no position, no right to talk about moral issue, to talk about any ethical value. Let's look at Ronnie CA too. How many of you guys remember Ronnie CA's story in 2000, I believe 2012? When Ronnie CA ran that story about George Weah, it was fake. He didn't get a detail. Like I said, we analyzed the story here Friday evening by God's grace. You know what he did next? Ronnie C.A., he got greeted. He got greeted. He got greeted. When he ran that story against George Weah, he got greeted. Because George Weah, as a peace ambassador, you listen to the man calling, Chief Bode calling Mr. Ambassador. There are more things in our audio we analyze it Friday. And you know when I analyze it, you know what I will do. But we just touch over a few things here today. It's like we're testing everything today. Today. Let's focus on Ronnie C.A. too. Because he'll come in the picture today and he'll come in the picture. Ronnie C.A. when this guy they call John Molu, he went and performed an audit at the Ministry of Agriculture. Dr. Toe, for some of you guys that don't know Dr. Toe, Dr. Toe served as one of the ministers of agriculture on Ellen. The same place that Boca underperformed. There was some money that was given to an institution called CARI that's supposed to help to improve our agriculture and food production. John Modu then conducted an audit and $350,000 was short. They did not say Dr. Toe was guilty. The other report said, oh, the money that was given to the ministry here, we cannot see where the money went. And they came back and said, Dr. Toe said, Mr. Auditor, this money, we will let you know what happened. It left from my ministry and went to CARI. And Mr. John Molu said, okay, until you can provide the proof for us, the audit is inconclusive. You're not guilty, but we cannot find the money. Provide all the proof. And do you know what Ronnie C.A. did with that story? Ronnie C.A. took that story and published it and said Dr. Toe embezzled $350,000. Dr. Toe was one of the regional presidents of Australia University. America, your capital conference. Therefore, Stanton, he is a criminal. And all privileges have been taken away from him. Dr. Toes got so upset about what Ronnie C.A. did. He was one of the first person that sued Ronnie C.A. for millions of dollars for defamation of character. Because John Molu came out and said, no, Dr. Toe is not corrupt. The money has been misplaced and all we ask for is to find that money. We did not say Dr. Toe took any money. So front page, you are wrong. And Dr. Toe said, I'm not leaving this. Dr. Toe put $1 million lawsuit against Ronnie C.A. Ronnie C.A. could not bail bond. He was put in jail. He said after a few weeks, he said he was not feeling well. They're talking to JFK. They still handcuff him. Ellen Johnson said he called Dr. Toe and said, how can we face the thing? The man said, what that man wrote online is already into Google. I took administrative leave to come and serve you here. What that man wrote, if anybody check my name out, they will find that story hanging on my character. And I got to defend my character until Ronnie C.A. come back on the news reread that thing and say, I'm sorry. I will not withdraw that lawsuit. Ronnie C. got to come back and apologize. He apologized and wrote that story over. When George Weah went to Jim Bestman's house, there's no story in America, there's no story in Europe, there's no story in Africa on the media that said that George Weah was caught into drugs activities. But because Mr. Weah did not pursue that as misrepresentation of the character, it became sweet in Ronnie C's mouth. And then he went and did it to Dr. Toole. And that's the story. That's the audio that Stanton Witherspoon want to bring back here. And think that he can get away with it because some of you guys, y'all were so busy doing something else, y'all did not pay attention. That's what happened. That's what happened, folks. That's why you see today, Ronnie C is very, very careful. Y'all go out Ronnie C, don't ask me. Y'all go in Google and go type it in. Ronnie C and Dr. Toe. Y'all will see the report there. Stanton Witherspoon know that he follower them. They are not resourceful. They don't do homework. They don't go and check on things. So he will come and post things for you to understand. Do you think Stanton will just come black me for nothing? You don't see me crossing your mind. You don't see me saying anything but just a fight. But Stanton Witherspoon know that when I get on his back, we will find something. And people who are into dubious things, when they see people who are smart, they close that whole small. That's who Stanton is. There is nothing in our recording that says George Weah is this. Go and tell George Weah in the system here. There's nothing you will find. I heard the man say, oh, I will bring Jim Bestman on the show here. Well, Mr. Witherspoon, the only thing I want for Witherspoon to do for me, let him call Jim Bottier and tell Jim Bottier about his past side of the story. You guys are playing with history here. You got to compare Stanton Witherspoon to make history. Because it will come a time, Liberia, most of us live in present memory. By the year 2033, when Stanton and the FBI and the U.S. government finish what they can do, by the year 2023, Stanton will come and say, nothing happened. And some of you guys will say, yeah, you're right. So I'm telling you guys now, Stanton needs to go and call Jim Bottier and have an interview. George Weah had an interview almost 13 years ago. Because that was 2010 plus 23, that almost 13 years ago because we after June. A few months. So why Stanton Witherspoon cannot call on Jim Bottier and say, I need to have this interview and keep it on record? Because he's a criminal. He will be incriminating himself. That is why he doesn't want to tell his story. If he had done something successful, don't you think he will be all over the media? People are quick to promote themselves. But equally so, it will be difficult for them to expose themselves. When they do the wrong thing, it will be difficult for them to expose themselves. If they do the right thing, it will be quick for them to promote themselves. That's who the man is. That's who the man is. Look at the other one here. Find something better to take. These are the people that cases stand on Azio. You see the other guy they call Jenkins Johnson? And you know, they kind of need the game say, hey, you know, Jenkins Johnson, that's someone there. They fucked up. That's someone, you see the kind of man, they got bad record in the town here too. Bad record. They kind of man they call Jenkins Johnson, they got bad record. These are the people, as soon as the police don't see them, the car can just be behind them like this. That one of them here, they want to call Jenkins here. By the time the police don't see them, the car can just be like this, behind them. Because they know, they send from their car, it can tell you that they corrupt, they are polluted. But when I was our time behind, you know better than the guy they call Jenkins. You know better. Because what we call integrity, what we call XYZ, that is moral value. All right? Moral value. Some of your brother and sister then don't respect that. The thing that man did in America here, are you brave enough to go and do it? If you answer yes, then you just like him. If you say no, then you are better than him. But if you start to defend him, then you are guilty by association. And then you are nobody in society. Understand that logic? Can you do it? No. But if you support him, then you are associating yourself. But I can't fault many Liberians because let me say this to you guys, and I'll be very honest here. The refugee repatriation that took place between 1991 or 1990 to the end of 2000, I believe 2005 or 2010, they brought many of your brothers and sisters in this country that were never educated. They never saw Morovia. They here now. They have spent years here. They wear nice clothes. They look nice. But up here, not too much thing up here. So when they get into important conversation, they don't have the gas to engage people. So whether it is the name, the appearance, I don't judge them by that. The next clothes you wear, the next one you buy, everything you do, I don't judge them by that. I just think based on the economic benefit, you deserve it. But where I will judge you is on your intellect. How well measured you are when it comes to moral standard, when it comes to ethical value. And I see many Liberians do not have those things. And that's why when people measure our performance in this country, they don't promote us. They're not going to value you based on the next car you ride. They're not going to value you based on the next home or the clothes you wear. No. The people in the country value you in your head. Things that you see and your mind tell you how to approach it and how to discuss it and how to handle it. The thing that Stanton has done, when you listen to ELBC, when you listen to ABC, MSNBC, when you listen to the people and say, breaking news, and it says, Stanton Witherspoon that you know, and the man is being mentioned on the People News Network, 6 o'clock evening news. The people can say you'll be on 6 o'clock evening news. And some people come here, some Liberians come here, and want to can't justify. Then, for me, you nobody here. But like I said, we'll discuss this more. George Weah was able to pick up the call from James Botte, or perhaps he called James Botte to clear his side of the event that happened at Jim Bestman's house. We heard it. We know it. But the question here is, speaking about George Weah, as he often say, when will you people learn to do things on your own or by yourself? When will Stanton Witherspoon call Jim Botte to tell Jim Botte about what happened with the wire fraud? Why should other people be the one to tell Stanton Witherspoon this thing? When will Stanton take upon himself as a father to his children, as a husband to his wife, and say, honey, case, I did something bad. And as American citizens, we must tell the world that what happened, we got to let our children know. Because that's the American way. Those of you that live in the United States of America, I'm talking about the Liberians that live in America, but they do things Liberian way, which I see as you live in the America, but you live in the Liberian America. The Liberians that live in the United States, they adopt the way of the Americans. They adopt the way of the American. You know what they will do? They will call their children, they will call their family, and they will come and say, my fellow Liberians, both abroad and in the diaspora, both domestically and abroad, or in the diaspora, or back home, my name is Stanton Witherspoon. I have been introduced to you guys as one of the popular CEO, but I did something wrong in this country, which I'm very ashamed of. I'm ashamed of it because I brought shame to you guys. I make sure that what I understand that what I did, it has become so embarrassing to every one of you guys, most especially Liberians who are medical doctors, nurses in this country. And I'm not going to explain it because the news got it all over now. But I want to sincerely apologize. I want to sincerely apologize for my action. I owe whatever I had done. But please forgive me. That is what a professional or a disciplined or a loving Liberian would do. Because what that man did, it brought into question and it took stereotype to the next level. Liberians who are nurses, black people who are nurses, when that thing went wide. Do you know today in every hospital, when the white people come and say, who the other one? Oh, my name is so and so. I'm your nurse. By the time you leave, they will just look at them and say, they will look at them and say, I want to see a white nurse. And that patient right. Patient right. The patient can get and say, I want to see a white nurse. Do you think they will be wrong? They will not be wrong. But do you know where that suspiciousness coming from? Because of what they saw on the news. Because of what they saw on the news. Because of what they saw on the news. So I'm calling on Stanton Witherspoon to please call BBC, to please call James Botte. Can call Jim Botte. So let's Stanton Witherspoon. If he doesn't have Jim Botte's number, he can Google him. Because he was new in the country. Jim Botte, on the other hand, need to call the man and say, my man, you guys, you want to make any history right now? Call our show, or can I call you to have an interview with you? That is my challenge to Stanton Witherspoon. Let Stanton Witherspoon come out and tell us, we as Liberians, what happened now that he went to the court and pled guilty to the charges on wire fraud, which is a criminal act, because it was a federal indictment. Same thing as Donald Trump. They got the federal grand jury. It was the same federal grand jury or something, Florida District Court. Same thing that happened to Donald Trump. Federal grand jury. Let Mr. Stanton Witherspoon call on Jim Botte to say that. Mr. Weir call. Let's listen to him. Go ahead, President Weir.
Our country. I built my reputation over the years. I don't think it's rare for any journalists, because they have freedom of press, to just write anything out there. It's very unfortunate. It's sad.
Ambassador, I think the story you are talking about was in the front page Africa, and it has to do with one Mr. James Bestman, who lives in the United States, and the report is that you were on the premise of Mr. James Bestman's house when U.S. authorities raided the place and arrested him allegedly for money laundering and drugs. Did you know Mr. Bestman, and were you on the premise?
James, I've been knowing Mr. Bestman for almost 20 or so more years. We have a very good relationship. There's no time that I witnessed a drug raid or money laundering raid with FBI and what have you. What happened there was I was on my way to Minnesota to the convention, and I decided to pass to James because he should have been part of those who are trying to watch the convention. And when I got to the place 9 o'clock coming from New York, through Philadelphia, when I pulled into the garage in the driveway, Mr. James came down the stairs, and I saw 2 officers serving a warrant that they needed to go come with them. Well, I was there by my car because I just arrived, and they asked me a question. I got my ID card, and the guy asked me to wait right there, and he called the federal office, and I called my name, and they ran my ID card and they got information on me, and they said, thank you very much, and then I asked the guy, I said, what happened? He said he didn't know. He just, all you know is a federal case, and you have a warrant for James. And then
you heard that? How many of you guys in America here don't know that your whole life is on that electronic ID card? You heard it, man. That is, you heard President Weah, Ambassador Weah. The FBI, the powerful local and perhaps international investigation bureau. They grabbed his ID card. They requested for it. He gave it. They ran the check to the database. Nothing happened. Came back. No, this guy is clean. And they decided to engage him with a conversation. And he, Mr. Weah, too, became very curious. But what's going on here? Well, we can give you more detail. We just here to serve a warrant. When was Stanton Witherspoon called Jim Butty to tell his part of the story? We know that the federal grand jury in America, they already went through their thing. Stanton had pled guilty. And most of the basic privileges and some important ones have been taken away from him. But when will he come to the audience now? When will he come to tell his base that I'm here to tell you my side of the story? And when will he come to plead guilty to the Liberian people about everything that he said and he been doing? When will he come and plead guilty to the Liberian people? Pleading guilty means when will he come and say, I'm sorry for what I did? The man doesn't care for you guys. That's why he's doing things the way he's doing. He's trying to find alibi. That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to find alibi. Let me just take a little break from the conversation. My brother James, Jonathan James, say another suspicious package, RIA. James, you fucked up. You fucked up, Gene. You fucked up, Gene. I don't know whether you're in America.
Shocking allegations. $100 million scheme selling thousands of nursing diplomas, now called fake by federal prosecutors.
Our healthcare professionals play an important role in our public health system. We therefore expect our healthcare professionals to be who they claim they are.
More than 24 people, a group of school administrators and recruiters, have been accused in a wire fraud operation to sell phony nursing degrees, creating what prosecutors describe as a shortcut around educational requirements set by the state nursing boards.
They prepared and sold fake nursing school diplomas and transcripts to nursing candidates, knowing that the candidates would use those false documents to sit for nursing board examinations.
The investigation, known as Operation Nightingale, feds issued warrants in 5 states and say that 3 schools were involved, all in Florida: Sacred Heart Institute, Siena College of Health, and Palm Beach School of Nursing. All 3 institutions have since shut down, so efforts to reach them were unsuccessful. But federal investigators allege between 2016 and 2021, more than 7,600 students obtained fake degrees, paying out about $15,000 each, for a total of $114 million.
These allegedly fraudulent documents may have allowed nurses to serve in critical healthcare roles.
More disturbing, authorities estimate about a third of the people that received fake diplomas, or nearly 2,300 people, are actually practicing nursing right now.
We have not learned of nor uncovered any evidence of patient harm stemming from these individuals potentially providing services to patients.
The DOJ says this isn't just about the training of those nurses involved, but the public's potential loss of trust in the healthcare industry.
When we take an injured son or daughter to a hospital emergency room, we don't expect, really cannot imagine, that the licensed practical nurse or registered nurse treating our child took a shortcut around educational and licensing requirements.
And Stephen Romo joins us now. Stephen, this is shocking and scary for a lot of people to think about this. Do we know what happens now to these nurses who got these fake diplomas and are working right now?
Yeah, that's the scary thing, that they're working right now. The last things people want to think about is this nurse actually, do they have a degree? Well, the FBI says that the list of those people, some 2,300 of them, has been given to each state's boards, and it's up to them to decide what action to take against these nurses. Now, we reached out to the National Council of State Boards of Nursing, and they say that could include losing their licenses. But as for charges that are already announced, those...
Tonight, John, the feds say some of these fake nurses put real patients in danger.
Yeah, and that is the real concern tonight, Brian, that they may not have the background to actually treat people in a hospital-type setting. You know, I've confirmed tonight that Delaware actually annulled the licenses of 26 nurses already. And the feds tonight, they're charging people across the country, including 2 in South Jersey.
All of us feel this is egregious.
Strong words from the executive director of Delaware's Board of Nursing after learning of a massive scheme out of Florida to sell fake nursing degrees. And tonight, we've confirmed 26 nurses in Delaware had their licenses annulled in connection to the fake degrees.
These people who went to these Florida schools did not complete the curriculum, the education, and the clinical training that is required of all nurses to be eligible to sit to take their licensure exam and to be licensed as a nurse.
She says there are no reports of patients being harmed, but tonight 25 people across the country face charges for their involvement in the scheme that brought in more than $100 million, including Stanton Witherspoon and Alfred Sellew of Burlington County, New Jersey. He's home? Okay. Can we talk to him? We tracked down Witherspoon at his home in Burlington today, but family members said he couldn't talk. Over the phone, he told me he had to check in with his lawyer. Wednesday night, the Department of
But you fucked up. Do you know how many suspicious packages that the TSA in America can catch every hour? Every hour? Do you know how many suspicious packages the TSA they can catch every hour in America? Some of you guys are just fucked up. Sometimes you should look at your parent and say, look, oh man, you born me, but I'm just useless. Because the way some of you can say things, you got to be careful how you say it on the platform here. Because I will question your integrity. Do you know how many suspicious packages? Go on Google right now and ask Google. How many suspicious packages every airport can capture in 1 hour? You will see a list will be coming down. Do you think when you come here and tell me, say, oh, suspicious package? When policemen pull you over, and so that you can tell you suspicion, and you'll be getting very, why you put me on that racial profiling? Some of you guys are just fucked up. All right? Some of you guys are just fucked up. Y'all need to play the positive with some level of discipline, some level of intellect, and some level of experience. Because you guys are trying to educate the people back home. When you say a suspicious package has arrived, you are simply telling the Liberian people who are here, because not everyone of them informed, and back home, that, oh, there's no suspicious package around the world. But that's not the case. That's not the case. And that is why when you come here, I will really bleach your brain. I will bleach your brain. I will bleach your brain. I will bleach your understanding. You presenting the thing I hate to say that, oh, this. But you will not tell her that, oh, Stanton Witherspoon pled guilty. You not do it. They political war that Stanton Witherspoon trying to bring that he's not going to win. He is simply destroying you. This man is not it's not nobody in America here. But as the man you're trying to support around here. That's the man you're trying to support around here. A man, no day respect to associate degree, because I sent you a guy associate degree from Western County Community College. I went to school in New Jersey here. That's where I got my associate degree from. No day respect to associate degree. But we are Liberian. We are proud set of people. But a man with a mere associate degree, will come and tell your thing. And some of you that say you got PhD, you listen to the man, you get another last thing. You guys are just fucked up. That's why you guys are. You guys are just fucked up. You guys are just fucked up. All right? So, we'll leave it here. We'll leave it, conversation here. I have 9:45 at 10 o'clock. I'm going to have a management meeting. That meeting, when I'm going to send certificate, we're going to talk about the company business. We don't send certificate here. We'll talk about what we're doing, how many cartons we push every day, what kind of report we got, that what we can do here. So when I say I'm going to meeting, I'm not going to go sell certificate. All right? No, we're not in the business of selling certificate. I would rather go to Walmart or go push my carton than to go do SYZ. And I see my sister Vivian laughing here. I got you to that Vivian. I'm not in the business of selling certificate. You know, one guy coming in, another guy was telling my man, I was thinking about something like certificate. I said, what do you mean by thinking about something like certificate? You don't know how to my standard certificate been there. I was only trying to tell you that I was thinking about getting something like professional certificate. I said, hey, you must then call me and say, oh, Jeremy, I'm trying to take the test to get certificate. But when you come and say I'm thinking about something like certificate, do I know that somebody that will get you certificate? No. I don't want my name to be in the FBI mouth. That's why anything I start with C, say I scale it now. By the time somebody say, oh, the letter C, I can say, let John over C and go to D. Because by the time he says C, the thing about certificate business. So I'm not in the business of selling certificate yet. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am about to shut this conversation down. Like I said, this broadcast will be repeated tonight. Join me. I will replay for the evening people to listen. But on Friday evening, we will go in depth with this video, the audio, and then we'll bring additional and supporting documentation to prove. But when you listen to George, we are here. All right, let's play this here quickly here. When you listen to George, we are here. He clearly said what he wanted to say. It was the truth. Please don't forget to send my letter. You got to send my letter. You're doing it. You got your people then who talking about the government. But when it comes to some of the critical issues, then some of us got to come here and get your power to go explain you. But you're not saying nothing to, oh, you see, you're the one that can bring about corruption. You're the one that can bring about corruption. You're the one that can bring about corruption. You're the one that can make people corrupt. You cannot even get me fasting. The only corruption that how they call it, corrupt person they can support that Stanton Witherspoon. But I don't care, I can talk from now to Judgment Day. None of y'all will say, oh, my man, yeah, let's on you, thank you for your work, I guess when it comes to your money business, then you're just LeBron people. You're the free thing. But it's okay. It's okay. But God knows I'm doing a work. God knows I'm doing a work. And I know that LeBron people, they only let corrupt people. LeBron only let corrupt people. People who are corrupt. Stanton Witherspoon can stand right over there. That we are not better people to compete. He comes. Let me show you guys something here. Let me show you guys something here. You see this guy? Many of you that watched that show yesterday, that the exact thing he was doing, the exact tone of voice, that's why he was using to conjure other people to buy certificate, which became fake document. What you saw the guy doing yesterday, it was himself. That's how he been behaving. That's why the FBI been monitoring. That was Stanton in his own self. That's what he did yesterday. When you see the video, you need to keep the video. Because the FBI, they having enough proof now that this is how the guy was using people to get him that 15,000 and get a fake degree. Remember that 609 number, right? Let's get to some reality here. You are dealing with Jay Rennie here tonight. Let's get to some reality here. That we are showing you some videos. Now, let us suspend the video for now. And let's go into some documentation review. All right? Let's go to some documentation review here. I'm going to share my screen with you guys here. All right? Stanton Witherspoon. Boom. This guy is mentioned in the news. And you will soon see that news is coming right now on your screen. It's mentioned in the news. Can you see that, guys? It's mentioned in the news. Let me go back to my original screen and reduce myself because right now I'm looking too big. You cannot see me. So let me just remove myself off the screen so that you can get to see the bigger picture that I'm trying to sell to you guys right now. Boom. It should be coming bigger to you right now because I'm watching it on my phone here. There you go. All right. You see that here? All right. I can see it here myself. So this is the Bradenton County Times. This is where Stanton lives, Bradenton County. The report came out, and this is exactly what they are saying about the report here. Let me go back to the other screen here. Let me interact with the screen itself. All right. Let me interact with the screen itself so that way you can get to see what is unfolding here. You'll soon see the screen moving up right away. This is the story here. All right. This is the story here. All right. This is the story of Stanton Witherspoon right here. It came out on January 27, 2023. Two Bradenton Township men accused of taking part in a scheme. All right. And who are the two gentlemen? Let's come down to their name here. Let's come down to their names. Who are the two gentlemen? This information will never be taken out the webpage for a very long period of time. Here is the guy here, Stanton Witherspoon. All right? Stanton Witherspoon. And what happened here again? Let's go down here. You're going to see something here. Where did he run his school? All right? He ran a school in Delaware. Let's come to that here. He ran a school in Delaware. Let's go down. He ran a school in Delaware. I will be coming to that very shortly. We're trying to make a point here, folks. We're trying to make a point. Stick with me here, folks. Stick with me here. We're trying to make a point here. All right? Here is the school here that Stanton Witherspoon ran. All right? What are the charges against Witherspoon and his buddy? Stanton Witherspoon ran this school called this Nursing Education Resource Center in Newport, Delaware. Let's stop sharing the screen and go somewhere else quickly. Let me bring you back here. Stick with me on this. Stick with me on this. All right? Let's go back again to something else. Remember that phone number I showed you? That was the phone number that he used for wire fraud. Let's go back somewhere else again. Let's go back again, folks. Let's go back. Let's go back. He went out like this, but I don't care for them. Let's go back again. Let's go back to him. Now we're going to share the screen with you guys again. Boom. We share it with you again. There you go. We are on the real page now. It's coming up very soon. It's going to pop up very soon. There you go. Yeah, it's the Stanton Men's School here, Nursing Educational Resource Center. Now, I want you to pay attention to something here, right? All right. Did you remember that number? Yeah, it's the fake thing he did to you guys. Remember the number he showed you guys? That number was what? 609-469-9694. Was that the same number? No, that number was different. It was different. All right. Now, this is a website here. Pay attention to your website. When you click here, you should be expecting the website to open up, right? Let's click here and see what's going to happen. Let's click here and see what's going to happen. All right. 404. Page does not exist. But look up in the top corner here, folks. You see the phone number we read? Didn't you see this number then? Where the people are making the contribution, the 0 number? Take a look at it, folks. Take a good look at it. I'm going to take a photo of it. Take a look at those numbers, folks. I'm moving the cursor over there. Take a look at those numbers. 609-649-9690. Next one is 609-649-4206. Now, let's backtrack again in the same page here. So he telling the people that his page does not exist. The school have been closed down. But here is where he thinks he's smarter than the FBI. When you come to your file right here and you click here, that's the same school here, right? Let's click this one right. You see the cursor moving here? Let's click this one. When you click this, it's going to open up. He thinks he's still running the school. You see here? That is the same page again that he's running. He thinks that people don't know that he's still running the fake school. By you clicking on the link, he think it's done. You see here, the same payment method, the same scam, the same phone number. The yes name right here, Stanton at whatever the crap is. That's what he's doing. This is what he's doing. All right? So he's still running the fake page. Now, let me start sharing this and give you guys a clear reason of why I decided to show you guys this information. The reason I'm showing you guys the information, those who are making donation through that same number, don't get surprised one day when you get a knock on your door from the FBI. This guy is setting many Liberians up. Let me see what I can show that. Let me see what I can show to you guys, so you guys can physically get to see the show. Let me put. These guys are very, very wicked to the people. Our people back home. What? Some of the people don't even know that Joseph Boca been to the hospital. They don't know this thing, folks. Wow. You got to share the video here. You got to share the video. That burden is on you guys, man. That burden is on you guys. These guys continue to lie and mislead the people. That is why when we call for why they can't provide information to the public, no, they don't want the people to hear it. They don't want the people to hear it. Wow. Let me see what I can find that video and show it to you guys here. Let me see it. So if you miss it, please, you have to go and listen to those guys. Those guys are making a greater fool out of our people, man. Let me see here, wherever it says. I hope I can find it here right now. Now, yeah, what they started doing now. Let me show you what they have started doing now. All right? For those of you that haven't seen the post, let me show you what they started to do now. All right? Just on 2 hours ago. Yeah, what they started doing. You see here? Barely on 2 hours. Barely on 2 hours. Joseph Boca is in the state. You see why they posted here just in 2 hours? Oh, I support Joseph Boca. They put his smiling picture here. But this is the reality of this old man struggling to make every day in. But they posting the picture there on Facebook and telling the people that, oh, we support Joseph Walker. You see how these guys are very, very, they don't care about the old man well-being, folks. These guys don't care about them, about that old man. They ain't care about them, about the old man. They not start posting picture. And I told you the last time. Remember what I told you guys the last time? That whenever they get busted, they'll go and bring different picture. That's what they started to do now. That's what they started to do. I mean, they're starting to do. That's what they're starting to do. These guys will damage that country, the people mind. They will damage the people mind. And somebody have got them on the plane, they came back now. You think they care for the people who are there? To even tell their own partisan that this man got sick, he was taken to the hospital. They cannot do it to the people, folks. They can't do it to the people. Or they can't do it for them. For them to even tell the people, they don't want to do it. Here the video here. Here is the video here, folks. If you missed the video today, please, I had it on StreamYard today. Watch the video here today. Was in Liberia. Go and watch the video today. All right? Go and watch the video after anytime today, tomorrow. Go and watch the video here. You will listen to the people calling from Liberia. They want to make their case. But when I ask them, have you seen Joseph Walker's recent photo? No. Pictures speak 1,000 words, right? Yes, it does. Pictures speak 1,000 words. When they see those photos, their mind of Joseph Walker will change. But they know by the people seeing those photos, they know by them telling the people about Joseph Walker's condition, it will be a serious blow to the Unity Party. And you get imagine Joseph Walker himself is over there, fellow Liberians. The man is over there. And you see the condition he's in. So why Joe Walker cannot even tell the people, say, look, I can't make it anymore. I can't make it anymore. But he just continuously just using himself, allowing people to use him. Look at Joe Walker here when he was the Joe Walker that many people knew back in the days. All right? Look at Joe Walker here. This is the Joe Walker that many people knew. But the man is aging. He's getting older. So why can't he God find somebody among themselves and say, you know what? We are tired. Let's bring somebody young. This is the Joe Walker here. But they don't want to do it. They are not willing to do anything but to use that old man, folks. But he brought it on himself. He brought it on himself. Yes. You think they didn't know that Joe Walker ain't work for anything? They know. Listen to them here. Listen here.
Joe Walker has no fresh ideas. Joe Walker is not able to run this country. He's a dead man walking. He's a dead man walking. And I cannot support a dead man walking. I will not support wicked Nukwe, the people who raise the budget on you, the people who raise, taxes on you, on water, on essential commodities that raise taxes on you. And some of you support these people. They have destroyed your lives. Man. Come on. What is it with some of you people? I will not change. The people will cry in this country. They will not have food to eat. Nothing will change. God forbid, if Emmanuel Nuku and Joe Parker won the presidency and the vice presidency, nothing will change. They're not going to cut their salaries. They're not going to reduce the budget. They're not going to. I'm not going to suffer because they're already reaching out to me now. They're already reaching out to me now.
You think he lying about that? You think he lying about that? As old as that video is, he's not lying. The old man was still in the hospital. The man left that country and came here. And they will still be reaching out to him. So in how much the video look very old, the content, the message in that video is what you need to focus on. Not the age of the video, but the information in that video that he just provided for you is the truth. It is the constant variable in that video. Forget about how old it is. As long as you can understand what he's saying, that is the message. He was on that ground, you saw him there. You think if that was his dad, his father, Okay, ladies and gentlemen, work every time he has the opportunity to ensure that you guys are always on top of things and are always in the position to be here with me for us to carry out the conversation. So today I'm going to break down for you what I believe are things that you need to understand and things that you need to know. You don't have to take my word for it, but I know that what I say on my platform here will always come to pass. Those of you who are following me most of the time, you are seeing most of the calls that I have made, most of the predictions that I have made, they have come to fruition. And that gave me the experience based on what I have had in the past, what you guys are seeing me doing, and as you see the result coming up in what I do, it should give you the understanding that yes, this guy they call J. Randy is on top of his game. He knows exactly what he's talking about. He knows what he wants. And I think he's somebody that I need to follow in order for me to be able to understand what Liberians are going through. So thank you guys so much for coming on here. And one thing I don't like to is I sit all the time here. Nobody call me. By the time I start, then people ready to call me. Why is it that it's always this case? Does that happen to some of you guys? I believe so, right? So I've been here since 6 o'clock this morning. We played the Stanton Witherspoon. We destroy his scam that he's trying to put on the Liberian people. Nobody called, but now I'm busy now people are calling. But we shut down the calls in order for me to give you guys the opportunity. So let me say thank you to every one of you guys. Share the video. If you're just joining me here, we're going to do something here that is very unusual. Whenever I switch the camera around, in order for you to get a big image or good image of this, we will turn the light off like this so that you can get the theater image of what we're going to be discussing. And then when I turn the light back on, we are going to be, when I switch the thing back, we're going to be on here. Today, I decided to step away from my online podcast because after here, that will be going out there. With that being said, folks, I don't want to waste your time. Let us now get into the real deal here. All right? Let us now get into the real deal and be able to discuss what we have for you guys on the agenda here. But before we do that, let me just grab my mouse here because I want to make sure that we don't have any background noise that tend to interfere with us. So let me see what is going on here. All right, so here we are. All right, so here we are here. So I'm going to hit something here quickly here so that way I will not have any interference. So if you are ready, well, I have been ready since I started this podcast here. So let me bring this thing to you guys here right now. All right, so we are going to be looking at, let me put this thing into presentation mode. All right, into presentation mode here. Let me put this in the presentation mode. Now, as you can see here, back here, that's me right there trying to drink my water right now. I already drank my water, so I'm okay. Somebody said I should post my cash app. Somebody said I should post my cash app. Anyway, yes, I love my man, Jerome. Jerome, all of the people for cash app business. Let me see where I can post the cash app for you guys. You know, I mean, I know that some of you guys are very honest. You all want to assist me in doing what I do. But to be honest with you guys, my character, sometimes I have to force myself. And you know, that brother man say, I get shame face. Yes, that's who I am. I got shame face. With all the talking I can do when it comes to reaching out to people for assistance, I got shame face. Let me be very honest with you guys here. Thank you very much, Pamoto. There go the cash app order. I got very, very big shame face. I'm not like other people who will be very, very, and bold and come and say, my man, no, I got shame face on that one. Let me be honest with you guys. Every man, every woman got their weak points. For me, when it comes to just reaching out to people like that, I got shame face in doing that. So let me say thank you so much, my brother, Jerome, for bringing that up. And I think Pamoto have put a cash app up for you guys. So the cash app is up there, guys. So if you want to make any contribution, please do not hesitate to make your contribution. We are not here to pressurize anybody. My goal here is to be able to at least help you understand what other people are trying to do and what other people are not doing for us here. So to begin the conversation here today, all right, we are looking at Josh Weir versus Buckeye. But before I get into that, let me just say a few things here. All right. So I'm watching the Buckeye people right here, or they on the other side of my screen here. The occasion is poorly attended. All right. Remember, rain for bad people is a curse. If you remember Sodom and Gomorrah, God used rain to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. Today, Unity Party people are going out there, it is raining. That tells you that there are people among them who are bad people, who got no good intention. We got Mo Ali, we got Stanton Witherspoon, and you got all these people there, including Joe Barker. These are bad people that don't deserve any good. That's why God is washing away every opportunity that they need to have. I just want to be honest with you guys that when rain comes down, in most instances, it's not good for all the time, because when you see what God did to Sodom and Gomorrah, we are there, it didn't rain. Coming were in or Magibi the other day, it did not rain. Only on Boca Day, because there are bad people among Boca, including Boca himself, that don't want to admit the truth. And it happened on a Sunday. It happened on a Sunday that things are happening. All right. So let me just say this to you guys. You see the people who are there, they are being paid to go and justify their salary. So, their pay. So do not pay attention to them. I want you guys to share the video. Let's get into some detail here. All right. So with that being said, let's get into some specific here now. So I'm going to make sure that you understand what we are going to be doing. Let us start with Joseph Barker. We are going to start with Joe Barker, as you can see right here, all right? So as you're going to see right here, we are going to look at Joe Barker. And I want you to look at Joe Barker and look at Joe Barker very good. I'm watching this thing on my screen. If you don't mind, I will move my camera around so that you can see what I'm seeing here too, right? So you and I are watching it together here. So just look here. You see my screen right there? That's me right there. You hear me here watching the screen right here, right? So while the camera is coming back to the main screen here. So you guys and myself are going to be watching exactly what I am going to be presenting here for you guys here. So you are not alone, all right? You are not alone. All I ask is for you to share the video, all right? Just continue sharing the video. So let me just turn the thing around again and tell you what we're going to say about Joseph Barker here shortly, all right? So let's turn the camera around and turn our light back on. I don't have much detail about Joseph Barker's personal life, but what I would say to you here, all right? What I would say to you here, listening to Joseph Barker, all right? When Joseph Barker was growing up, what I do know, and this story is coming directly from Joseph Barker. Joseph Barker, one, when we look at his personal achievement, Joseph Barker's personal achievement have been very, very bad off. Remember, when Joseph Barker was living in Wasanga, in Lofa County, at that time was considered to be Lofa County, you will note that Joseph Barker told this story where he sold a sick baby goat to a Fuda businessman. Don't take my word for it. Journalists out there, those of you that know journalists, go to journalists or any journalist in Liberia and ask them exactly what I'm saying to you here. I am saying this across my heart. Everything I'm saying here, I ask God to be the witness and the judge of me. Joseph Barker, before the 2017 election, went into the studio of Henry Costa and said, while growing up as a young man, he and his brother, they took a sick baby goat and decided to sell the baby goat to a Fuda businessman. They decided to sell a sick baby goat to a Fuda businessman. The Fuda businessman. Remember, I said we are going to look at a comparison between Joe Barker and Josh Weir. So we're going to go deep dive into what we know about these two gentlemen, and then what they had done and where they are today. Joseph Barker, Liberians, Joseph Barker told Liberians on Costa Show that he took a sick baby goat and decided to reach out to a Fuda businessman to sell that sick billy goat. He said he was hungry, but he had to do what it takes for him to survive. And in the process of doing that, he took a sick billy goat to a Fuller businessman. When he took the goat to the Fuller businessman, he said there were multiple Fuller business shops that he saw, but he saw this other Fuller businessman and thought that the Fuller businessman was somebody that was not smart, according to Joe Barker. And then he said, we go into that store over there. And he and his brother walked up to the Fuller businessman. And he told the man, say, we are here to sell a billy goat. Fuller businessman is a businessman who came into the community to uplift the community. And the man came outside and looked at Joe Barker, looked at his brother, and said, what are you guys looking for? He said, we want to sell the billy goat. And the man looked at Joe Barker, looked at his brother, and said, the goat doesn't look good. I'm not here to buy a sick billy goat. The billy goat doesn't look too well. Do you know what Joe Barker did? The man that people running behind today that is so dishonest to tell you guys his story. Joe Barker told Henry Costa, he took the billy goat back and got a bag of water, a bag of salt, and took that salt and dumped it into a bucket of water. My friend, don't take my word for it. Any one of you that close to Costa right now, take the video to Costa. Take this video to Costa. If Costa really want to come back to America, and Costa believe that what he had represented, voice of the voiceless, before coming to Root FM, let Costa deny what I'm telling you guys. I will resign from politics. I will shut down my Facebook page and only become a private person. And I will sit down and watch every other show and not come out to say anything as it relates to politics. Take the video and carry to Costa and share the video with Joe Barker. Joe Barker told Henry Costa he took that billy goat back and fed that billy goat with a bucket of water, but it has salt in it. And he immediately turned around and went back to the Fuller businessman. And you know what he told the Fuller businessman? And you know what he told this Fuller businessman? He told the Fuller businessman that this is a different billy goat. This is a different billy goat. Thank you very much, my sister Cuden Williams. He brought the billy goat back to the man. And the man asked him, is the billy goat the same billy goat? He said, no. It is a different billy goat. Joe Barker knew in himself that what he said, it was wrong. And the Fuller businessman asked Joe Barker, are you sure this billy goat is not the same billy goat you brought to me? He said no. And then Costa asked him, but it was the same billy goat. He said, yeah, but I tried to trick him. And the Fuller man fall for Barker trick and took that money and gave it to Joe Barker. And Joe Barker said, Costa, do you know what I did? Costa said, no, tell me. He said, the moment I got that money, I ran out of there. But he said, one thing I told my brother, I don't know what that brother is today. Joe Barker said he told his brother to follow his lead. Following his lead meaning whatever he said, his brother should not say no, but just follow him. And he told Costa the reason he ran away from over there, it was because the billy goat at any given time, when the billy goat pee, it will reduce and it will look exactly like the sick billy goat. That is the story that Joseph Barker as a young man prior to coming into government and public service. That is the story that Joseph Boakai is proud of to tell people. So Joseph Boakai, growing up as a young man, was involved into, that's why he was involved into. That's why Joseph Boakai was involved into. God, I see myself, I keep getting called here, forgive me. That is why Joseph Boakai was involved into. That is what he was involved into. That is why he was involved into. That is what Joseph Boakai was involved into. That's something that Joseph Boakai took pride into. And the other story Joseph Boakai will tell you guys, oh, his mother's feet were chopped off and he felt sorry for his mom. So then what happened after that? By 1973, Joseph Boakai decided to get into public service. So let's look at Joseph Boakai's political career. By 1973, Joseph Boakai worked as a resident manager between 1973 and 1980. He was working for William R. Turbo. Turbo assigned Joseph Boakai as resident manager to take charge of the Liberia Produce Marketing Corporation. That's what he did. That is what Joe Boakai did. He worked over there from 1973 to 1980. When you listen to Joe Boakai out there campaigning today, do you hear Joe Boakai telling you what he did on that job? Remember, we are looking at Joe Boakai's personal experience now. We have not reached to Ellen Johnson Sirleaf yet. And I don't want to show you what I never showed you guys on the platform before. It is very unfortunate that Liberians back home don't understand who Joe Boakai is. But it is an understanding, it is an opportunity for you guys to listen to what you're going to learn from Joe Boakai here today. So from 1973 to 1980, LPMC was just a facility. And Turbo told Joe Boakai to oversee that facility. And that's why he was serving as manager. Some of you guys today who work in America here, you got a whole position as manager in other capacity. That is the opportunity that was given to Joe Boakai. Now, when Doe took over, after Doe took over in 1980, Doe decided to elevate from manager to director. The LPMC has now moved on to the Liberia Produce Marketing Corporation. Doe decided to elevate Joe Boakai from manager to director because he was retained. People did favor for him. So Doe made him managing director of LPMC, the Liberia Produce Marketing Corporation. So what did Joe Boakai do in that role? When you listen to Joe Boakai today talking about his accomplishment, what can you say about what Joe Boakai has accomplished? Where do we have any video recording, any documentation that show that Joe Boakai in that role became somebody successful? Where do we have that? Where do we have that? Let's be honest here. These are conversations that need to be held across every major platform about Joe Boakai's success. We are trying to understand why we think that Joe Boakai can be president or should be president, why we think that Joe Boakai should not be president of Liberia. Of what we have said just now, let's just forget about me being the presenter here today. Who can come out from back in the days when Joe Boakai served as manager for LPMC and then later on as director on two different presidents? What did Joe Boakai achieve? What did he achieve that he's talking about today When he look at Liberians today, he's going on an empty stadium today, and he's going to be looking at Liberian in the faces today. Will you hear Joe Boca? And I want you guys to take this thing as a guide, because Joe Boca will be speaking to the people today. When he get done speaking, go back and listen to it. And that's what we want to do. That's why we are coming out with this thing simultaneously, so that we can bring you up to some speed, so that when you're done with this conversation today, when you listen to Joe Boca, you say, but I listened to Jay Randy. Joe Boca said he did this, he did this, he did this. But I did not hear anything about Joe Boca accomplishment in those different roles. So that is what we are doing here today. We are trying to set our trap for Joe Boca. Joe Boca does not know that we're setting a trap for him. He's going to go speak to the people today. But what I want you to understand, political leaders who are looking for power, they are supposed to be telling the people about their past experience, their personal experience, their domestic experience, their leadership, what they have brought to the table, what they have done in the past that make them to be eligible for the new role they are seeking for. I'm telling you that Joe Boca, as managing director and as resident manager of LPMC, did not do anything in that role. And you see it here for yourself. Do you know where the thing is coming from? This information is coming from Joe Boca's own profile. It's not coming from my profile. If you think Joe Boca's story about the baby goat is not true, wait until this show ends. You will see something that I'm going to show you today, and you will be amazed. And this is only one-time opportunity that I'm going to give you. I know ANC people are coming here, they're spying here. Well, it's okay to come and spy. And you know, it's okay. If you don't give me the blessing, well, God will give me that blessing. Let's move on here, folks. Let's move to the next round here. All right, let's move to the next round here. Let's go down here quickly here. Let's turn the light on for good light. So what happened next? After from 1980 to 1982, Joe Boca was in that position. What did Samuel Kayande do? From 1983 to 1985, he served as what? Managing director, folks. From 83 to 1985, Joseph Boca served as Minister of Agriculture under Samuel Kayande. Question for you guys. Aside for Joe Boca telling you, should we listen to some audio here? I think we should listen to some audio here. Let's try to listen to some audio here from Joe Boca, what he said he got fired for, right? Okay, so let's go to some audio here. Let's go to some audio here so that you can be aware, because we said that we're going to be breaking things down for Liberians here today. So let's come to some audio here and listen to Joe Boca, because we are putting ourselves on record today. So we want to make sure that we capture everything that Joe Boca is going to say here, folks. So let's make sure we capture that, all right? So Joe Boca says something here back in the days when he was on 50-50 show with Tima Jalate. He says something about him being what? Fire, right? Let's see where we can find that audio so that you guys can listen to Boca here. Right here. Let's come to the audio right here. All right. Let us come to the audio here. All right. And let's listen to Joe Boca here. All right.
One single tap, you find all.
Let's listen to Joe Boca here.
His silence.
Okay.
Showing that he is in support.
Down. And so anybody who lives on loans is somebody who pays loan. If you don't pay a loan,
okay,
how you going to live? How you going to? In America, you can go there. People have credit.
Let's listen to Joe Boca here, folks.
If you don't understand that. But the question on the number 2 man who was talking about though I'm happy that somebody called from the States to talk about, with a president, they say you serve at the will and pleasure of the president. And when Doe fired me, the same day he fired Tekula Poto. And where was I? In Yekepa, where we were trying to reform the Ministry of Agriculture. The problem was, Joe Boca, you in government?
That is not true. Joe Boca was never fired while he was in Yekepa. Joseph Boca was abroad when he got fired. Joe Boca is telling you, now get your pen or your pencil, mark that down. Joe Boca said he was fired because of political reason. That was not why Joe Boca was fired. Joe Walker was never fired for political reason. That's why he said about Samuel Kanyado, right? Now, let's go back here so you can see what Joe Walker just said here, right? Okay. Joe Walker said he was fired for political reason on Samuel Kanyado. Joe Walker also said he was fired for political reason when Amos Sawyer put him in there. Let's listen to Joe Walker again, folks. Listen to him again when it comes to Amos Sawyer.
You don't belong to the NBPL. One day, the late Jeremiah Tully asked me to go to the party headquarters. I said, where's the party headquarters? He said, you mean you minister, you don't know the party headquarters? I said, no. When Doe fired me, he took the longest time to replace me by the Liberals because he thought I was going to go back. And I wrote him a letter.
That's not true, folks. That is not true. That's not true.
At his Steve Bunny. But that was the president feeling at the time. Why should someone be in government and not a member of the party? So when you hear people are fired in government, let us state the reason.
That's not true, Joe.
Sometimes they have a better way of putting it for.
Joe was fired for poor performance. That's why it was.
Wherever I have worked, when you have problem with people, you talk about Sawyer. Sawyer was not the Minister of Agriculture. Today you ask Sawyer, I was sent to LPRC with a letter to perform a special. Go restructure the place, make sure you put orderliness in place. And there was an understudy. And after that, they asked me. If Sawyer were to have been asked today why he did it, he knows the reason. It was all political.
There you go again. There you go again. There you go again. So we're done with what we have here, all right? We are done with what we have on the page you're looking at right now. So let's try to turn this thing around here. So Joe Walker, only excuse in government. Doe fire him for political reason. Sawyer fired him for political reason. Ellen Johnson said he did not support him for political reason. He got denied by the Liberian people for poor performance in 2017. It was political reason. Today, at the stadium they're going, when the people don't turn up, Joe Walker will come by and say for political reason. You are listening to a man who put blame up there and never ever imagined that he should blame himself. That's who Joe Walker is, and that's what I want you to remember about who Joe Walker is. Now, what was Joe Walker up to under Ellen Johnson Sedi administration? Joe Walker said he was part of an old car, right? Let's show you something here. Joe Walker said he was part as an old car. That is not true. Joe Walker was not on a park. Joe Walker was not an old car. Joe Walker, all along with Ellen, as you can see, everywhere Joe Walker went, he became a total liability to Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Joseph Walker was nothing but it was a total liability to Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. And if Joe Walker ever tell you that he was parked as an old car, then you don't know Joe Walker for true. And you don't understand what Joe Walker has done in the past. Yes, you don't understand that. And I'm going to help you to understand that. Joseph Walker was never parked as an old car. Matter of fact, Joe Walker enjoyed himself with people during the Ellen Johnson administration, as you can see right here. Joe Walker had a very good time with the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf people. Let's get back to one of our references here in regards to that. Let's get back to it so that you can get to see what Joe Walker himself did when he was with Ellen. Remember, during the campaign time, this is what Joe Walker was up to here, folks. Listen here.
Budget for electricity at the office. The poor in the travel. They have water and sewage. They have no money there for water and sewage. Telecommunications, internet, postage, and courier. They have $20,440. Fuel and lubricants for the VP's vehicles. They have $70,755. Fuel and lubricants for the VP's generator. They have $111,176. repair and maintenance civil for the VP. They have $12,000 US. Repair and maintenance for the VP's vehicles. They have $91,000 US, $91,285. Repairs of equipment, machinery, and other equipment, $2,944. Consultancy or stationery, I jumped over stationery. Stationery in the VP's office is $35,647. Consultancy services, $36,540 United States dollars. Food and catering services in the VP's office is $38,574. Entertainment, oh yeah, entertainment representation. $81. The VP got $80,790.
Let me hold you right there. This is the man that will tell you, you listen to Costa giving you the VP budget. The VP budget. This information is not given to the people out there. And that is why when you listen to Joe Walker telling people, let's come to another video here. When you listen to Joe Walker saying this thing here, all right? Let's come to Joe Walker here. When you listen to Joe Walker making this kind of statement here, I'm sorry I'm not using my screen today, but we'll find a way to work around that. When you listen to Joseph Walker taking to the platform and making the kind of remarks,
Very hard on the economy in your life. And that's because we've dealt with it before. We've worked before. So Liberians, we want to give you hope. God gave hope to you, but it put leadership in charge. And that leadership must be conscious of the need of the people. If that leadership is not conscious, it's all they're talking about chartering planes, going around, singing, and taking your children, pushing them to kush. What they want to do is to destroy you so their children can go to foreign school. And we are saying, this is your country, this is where your life is, and we will be under obligation. I'm saying to all persons.
so Joe Walker want to tell me that people are now pushing people away, right? Let me play something here for you again. Let's listen to Joe Walker here talking about people. There was a lady who came to Joe Walker, and you will not imagine what he told that lady. Ready for that? Let's focus on Joe Walker here so you can listen to him. Let's listen to Joe Walker.
Every one of us here come from different backgrounds. And life actually grants nobody excuse wherever you come from. I listen to stories of people every day. If you had to go this morning to my house, at the gate, people are there.
Did you hear Joe Walker the other day? Let's hold that audio order. Did you hear Joe Walker the other day telling the people that people build gates to stay away from people? We'll play that. But I want to remind you, look, Joe Walker upbringing is all tied into dishonesty and lies. That's why he has been very unfortunate in life. Let me progress here. Listen to what he's going to say. He just told you that people want to send their children abroad, but he's willing to help. But in a role, whether it's private or domestic role, listen to Joe Walker again, folks. Listen to Joe Walker.
My papa, my mama, they don't have food to eat. Sometimes they bring, the other day I was lucky, they brought two set of triplets to me. And that's every day, every day.
That's Joe Walker there complaining, oh. That is Joe Walker there complaining. The man who you are just listening to. Let's listen to him again here.
When you come to GNB government, you better come with clean hands. Because we're not going to allow people to steal people's money and live. You work, you earn. But it's to build the life of these people that stand there to put you in office. They are the ones giving you the job. When you vote for people, you're giving them a job. And I don't know whether people are not ashamed to steal from those people who are under you, who serve you. You take their per dime, you eat it, You take your salaries for yourself, you reduce. When you work, you want your salary to increase. But for your salary to, what if you are making $500 a month and you went to the bank, give you professions, you can work, get paid, and your children will say, yeah, our daddy has come, our mother has come. If you don't do that, come October 10th, you're cheating yourself. You're not cheating me. You're cheating.
And here's why Joe Parker is right on that one. Because Joe Parker knows very well that he's not going to help any Liberian. Let's finish the audio here quickly here. Let's finish the audio. Listen to Joe Parker here. Listen to him. How he going to talk down to that woman. Listen.
I'm listening to stories of people. Some I take care of, some I'm not able. The problem about here is that everything people want, they want it now. And they come for 500 and you will have it now. As if to say, you just have the bucket, you just take it and give it. And I asked, beside the triplets, do you have any other children? She said, yes. Say, how many more? I said, 2. So that's 5. I said, what happened to your husband? He said, he ran away. I said, I will run away too.
Yeah, Joe Parker? Do you think it's by mistake that Mo Ali is behind Joe Parker? This woman came to Joe Parker with her children for help. Instead of focusing on the children and the mom, he decided to ask the lady, where is your husband? And there's nothing wrong with asking for that. The woman simply told him the husband ran away. And you know what he told the woman? I myself, I will run away too. So what Joe Parker is saying, I can pregnate you. When you get more children, I will run away from you. And when you see Mo Ali going around and doing what people are spreading around, do you think it's by mistake? No, it's not by mistake. What I want you to understand here is Joseph Boakai had his share in the early administration and enjoy. Let's listen to Joseph Boakai budget here again as Costa read that, because that was the budget that Boakai enjoyed even during the last time in office with Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Listen.
$80,790. Entertainment. What does the U.S. president have for entertainment? $21,000. The president of the most powerful country on the face of the earth, with a budget of nearly $4 trillion and a GDP of nearly $19 trillion, he has entertainment. He has $21,000 for entertainment. The vice president of one of the most insignificant, good-for-nothing countries on the face of the earth has $21,000 US for entertainment. That's 4 times what the 4 times. So Joe Boakai got 4 times more money to party than Barack Obama. Oh, what does that tell you? What does that tell you about Liberia? Oh, I don't need to explain to you what that tells you about Liberia. You all know what that means. You all know what that means. But you know, I want to hear from Liberians what they make of this. What do you make of this? We're increasing the VP's budget to go around the country to campaign. We the ones supposed to get Joe Boakai money to go campaign. Let's go to the lines and take some call. Budget for electricity.
So you see what happened there, folks? So that's why they did in 2017. They put more money into VP budget. Because remember, he was over the Senate. He cheered. Yes. But what I want you to understand, this guy says something very, very important. And I want us to listen. And then from there, we will be coming over to the final part of Joe Boakai for this section, for this segment. And then you will get to understand that Joe Boakai was never parked as an old car. But what I want you to look at here right now is exactly what the guy said. He's not wrong. He's right. And I will prove that to you. All right? So let's continue here.
Well, we are staying in Lofa County, like I told you this morning. We are on our way. And, we've been going to towns and villages to interact with the people. And this abuse the minds of Liberians that say Lofa County is...
I want you again. I know many times since I posted a thing, it had hit almost 75,000 views. But it's not just what he said, I want you to focus on. I want you to understand what he's talking about. Because when we get done with Joseph Boyka, this guy is going to tell you what Joseph Boyka domestically did. So we are done with Joseph Boyka personal achievement. He did not achieve anything. We are done with Joseph. We are almost done with Joseph Boyka domestic achievement. The personal achievement, nothing. The domestic achievement, nothing. We are now gradually coming into his what? Into his professional achievement. We are working our way in there. And then after that, we're going to see what he did with Ellen and the lie that Joseph Boyka have been telling you. I will put that thing up and I will want you to take a screenshot. So if you have extra camera, please be ready to bring it out. Let's listen to Master Words for a little bit. After that, we will be going to what Joe Boyka has long been lying to you about. I'm going to show that. This is the first time that you're going to see that. All right? So let's listen here. Let's pay attention here. Let's listen to Master Words here and listen to exactly what he's going to be saying. I want you to understand that. Let's pay attention to him right now.
The stronghold of Joseph Boyka. So, a young man just walked up to me and want to express his dissatisfaction on the speculations in Monserrado County. So let me get your name.
My name is Amara M. Trawale Jr. Many people call me Master Words, and I'm the chairman and the founder of the movement of the downtrodden youth of Bonjaman District.
So, you walked to me very angry this morning, and what is the reason for that anger that you came to me with?
I'm very desperate, even more than anger, because people sit in Monrovia there and say that this place is already controlled by the Vice President Joseph Boyka. That is a blatant lie. A blatant lie. You know, we the Levines, we are even disappointed over Boyka. We are disappointed in his
What do you mean you are disappointed? Boyka being a man from Lofa County, and you being from Lofa County, then you say you're disappointed. Why are you disappointed?
And that's the thing, in fact, that will mislead us, because he's from Lofa County, so we should vote him in, even if he is not qualified for the position.
You mean Boyka is not qualified?
Well, qualification does not have to only deal with education. He got the education, but the experience to move this country forward, he doesn't have it, because he's been on board for the past 12 years. What he didn't do, you anticipate him to do something more than that? That's the area where the disqualification comes in. I'm not saying that he's not educated, but he is not qualified to move this country forward. And the kind of a conception, the kind of a mind that people have in Monrovia there, they sit and say, this place controlled by Joseph Boyka is lie. You know, you know very well, we were in Bakeru yesterday. I'm from Bakeru anyway.
Oh, you're from Bakeru?
I'm from Bakeru anyway, the Kodogoni district. You know, you were there yesterday, and you saw the kind of momentum. You know, and even when George Weah entered the town a couple of days ago, the entire Bonjaman was on fire politically. When Joseph Boyka came, this town was looking like it was even sleeping.
You joking?
You know, I'm not joking. I'm telling you something from the bottom of my heart. I'm a master-practic leader. I control 315 members of 315 youth in this district. And let me tell you something. Joseph Boyka has no tangibles to point at in Lofa here. If anybody is daring me, let anybody come up and say Joseph Boyka has chicken horse in Bonjaman here, not to even talk about building. You understand? You traveled yesterday to Kolahu. Okay, I was even thinking that I said, let the protocol not take the decision for George Weah to go to Foya, because this guy couldn't come back. And that's the hometown road of Joseph Boyka. You saw the road. It's horrible, very horrendous. You understand? The road is bad, to say the least. You understand? Charity begins at home. If this man cannot do anything for Lofa, he didn't do anything for Lofa for the past 12 years, what do you expect out of him? Let's not be joking here, man. Let's not be joking. You know, the driver can change, but the car will still remain. Oh, Madam Salim, Joseph Boyka, they form in the same predicament. We can elect them for another 24 years. You know, what will we be doing? So you want to tell me that the only one that have the breed to run this country?
So you say, what part of Lofa specifically you from?
I'm from Kodogoni district. Specifically, I'm from Marvin Bonedu. Marvin Bonedu is in the Kodogoni district. It's one of the renowned towns in the Kodogoni district. I'm not far from the home of Dr. Edda Bianchi, the founder of the Unity Party. Unity Party is for Lofayan. But Lofayan are tired with the Unity Party. You understand? If the Unity Party could have another driver, maybe the sympathizers of the Unity Party could be much. if I go another driver. But the driver is still the same.
So you say the Lofa citizens are angry with Boakai because you can't point out any tangible, one single tangible.
Nothing of the sort. You know why? Joseph Boakai is associated with people who have already failed this county. You know.
And who are some of those people?
Every time he comes here, the incumbent, Honorable Mayan Bian Fofana. And Mayan Bian Fofana, my own Madingo sister from Kwadu district, has failed the district. We were moving up and down behind her to 2011. But now she failed us, and she wants all the game to re-elect her. It can't work. Senator George Temple, on the United Party ticket. Those are the failures that are behind Joseph Boakai. So I'm sorry, he's not going to go anywhere because the people of Labour County are disenchanted over their leadership. Let not somebody sit down in Monrovia and say Lofa is for Joseph Boakai. You'll be making a very grievous mistake.
So what is your final message to the people? You got hundreds of people all around the world that are looking at you.
This message could go even beyond what we anticipate. You understand? I want this message to go forward. Let it go through the length and breadth of this country that Joseph Boakai does not have any political control over Lofa County. Lofa is divided over the leadership of Joseph Boakai. You understand? The only thing people can say here in Lofa is that he served as the managing director for LPMC normal days. That's not enough. 24 years in government, I still to be corrected, but I think he has spent more than 24 years in government.
In 40 years.
40 years. What does he want now? Let him go back and build his home. Foya Tinga, I think that's the area he's from.
Oh, from Foya Tinga.
No road there. No road. You saw the road yesterday.
Very terrible.
No road. So how many years we should sit again for the Bangam and the Common Road to be fixed? We know that Josh Weah is the only option. The alternative choice to political freedom, social, economical freedom in this country, for us to get over this dodging, is not to re-elect any members of the Unity Party. Let us carry Josh Weah. I interacted with Josh Weah yesterday. I saw him. I said, but wait now. This is a man, so common man, like this. It means that when this man is at the executive mansion tomorrow, nobody will be afraid to go around him. You know, I was speaking to him. I said, you know, you were my friend. I'm sorry for that expression. No. But he's so too down to earth. And I'm not seeing a reason why we shouldn't give this leadership to Josh Weah. I don't know why. I don't know why. And this question seems to be very rhetorical. Why can't we elect Josh Weah to liberate us economically?
The people say Josh Weah ain't no book. That's the reason why we're not.
And you know why? I'm an expert in English. That's the reason why they call me Master of Words. When George Weah was speaking to people yesterday, because people say those things here and there that he doesn't speak good English, I was standing by his side, listening to the final pronunciation of his words. The ED, the SRED, the ZRED, and he got everything in time. This guy is eloquent. Very, very eloquent. Very, very eloquent indeed. He found very, very eloquent. You know, to know that somebody speaks good English, not only vocabulary, but you're going to subject verb agreement, the pronoun antecedent, the cases.
All right, so let me hold you guys there. And the reason I brought this up is to let you guys know that Joseph Boakai will never, ever tell you what he did in his county. What he did in his county. This guy challenged Joe Boakai since 2017, and Joe Boakai has not taken onto any platform to tell the people of Liberia what he has done. The only excuse Joe Boakai keep giving as vice president, he never had the opportunity. Let's listen to a BBC interview by Joe Boakai, and then right behind the screen, there's something waiting for you there that would dispute, that would deny, that would tell you that Joe Boakai lied to the Liberian people. Let's listen to this here quickly.
That your government has turned a blind eye when big corporations have stolen some or been allowed to take your country's resources, but that's another issue. There are a couple of questions here from some of our listeners. Saddam Muliayama in Uganda asked, what are you planning to do for the country? And if you've had plans, why haven't you implemented them since you've been serving in the government? Echoed by Azarius Jamal, who asked, you served all these years, what new development would you bring and why haven't you failed to deliver them already?
Well, you know, most people don't understand the role of a vice president, and they mix it up with a president. The vice president is a vice president. The Constitution clearly defines the role of vice president, and you can only assist the president. I preside over the Senate without a vote. I take on responsibilities that are assigned to me. I do not fire. I do not hire.
So does that mean any failings are not down to you, but to the president? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I'm saying that I have discharged my responsibilities, and the president is on record to always give me credit for what I've done. I don't do what the president is supposed to do unless she asks me to do so.
That's a lie. Let me turn the camera around so you can see. I'm going to turn the light off. You and I are going to read this together. The role of the vice president of Liberia and the responsibility. I want you to take your time and read this thing here for me quickly here. This information is actually for Joe Boyka. Let's read together. Joseph Boyka served as the 29th vice president of Liberia from 2006 to 2018 under President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. During his tenure, he presided over the plenary sections of the Liberian Senate for 2 days each week and performed supervisory role. Now, I want you to focus on supervisory role function. All right? That was Joe Boyka's responsibility. He performed supervisory role function. That means Joe Boyka was supervisor. He supervised functions over what? Several institutions and agencies, including Liberia National Lotteries, the Liberian Marketing Association, the Liberian Agency for Community Empowerment, and the National Commission on Disarmament, Demobilization, Resettlement, and Reintegration. Those were things that Joseph Boyka was part of. So going forward, when Joseph Boyka tells you guys that he was just an old car that was parked, please take a screenshot of what you're looking at right now. Take a good look at what you're looking at right now. Those were the responsibility of Joseph Boyka under Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. So the question he just posed to the answer he presented to the BBC lady who was interviewing him, he essentially lied to that lady. He lied to that lady. You see, my friend, as small as we are here, you will not be fooled. You will not be fooled by any of Joseph Boyka talk show hosts. The only worry we have are the people out there who are being misinformed. But for you, you are well informed. And that is why you need to share this platform with your friends. Because Liberians are walking into a place where they don't understand what they're going into. When you listen to Joe Boyka, do you really think Joe Boyka is making sense? No, he's not making sense. Now, let's listen to, Joe Boyka now is running for president, right? So, let's finish this last one here on Joe Boyka. All right? Let's finish this last one on Joe Boyka here. Let us now go to Joe Boyka page. Joe Boyka said he's running for president. Let us go to Joe Boyka page and try to explore. You know how we went down to Stanton Witherspoon page the other day? We are about to go to Joe Boyka page now. All right? So let's click onto Joe Boyka page. You can see Joe Boyka page here, right? Yeah, you can see it very crystal clear here. So this is Joe Boyka page where he's getting money here. Take a good look at it here, folks. We're going to challenge some of the things that Joe Boyka got on here, folks. We're going to challenge some of it. So it is called Joe Boyka right here. As you can see here, joeboyka.com. This page is a .com. That means it's a money organization. Let me tell you guys a few things here. When you study internet technology, especially internet entrepreneurship, Joe Boyka, whoever built that platform for Joe Boyka, they are using .com. .com is for business. .org is for private organizations that are not in the business of collecting money. So when you say joeboyka.com, He is essentially collecting money in America here. Because John Molu, the former Auditor General, is the one who established that platform. And he named it as .com. That means Joe Boga need to be paying taxes to the government here because he's conducting e-commerce online. It should have been .org organization. That's why it should have been. But it's not the key reason why we want to look at Joe Boga platform here, right? So let us go down the horn here. What I want you to look at here, let us look at key investment here, all right? Let us look at key investment. Pay attention to the key investment here, folks. And let's go down here, all right? We are going to, this road here is the current road that Mr. Weah built. That is the photo image that Joe Boga posts here, all right? Let's go down the horn here. These are police officers. Who are these police officers here? These are students here. Who are these students? Well, let's go and do some research. Let's go and do some research. Let's start with the students. Let's right click here and let's go down to what it called Google image. I mean, where Joe Boga copied the image from. Let's go to the address. No, let's go to Google. Let's search it with Google and see where Joe Boga got the image from. Now we see the image right here. So let us click into the image right here. All right. Let's click into the image here and see who it belongs to. All right. So let's click into that. Let's click right here. You see the same student here. So let's click right here and see where Joe Boga got the image from. Joe Boga did not get the image here from Liberia. Joe Boga got the image here from some kind of school in Chicago here. That's what Joe Boga doing. So that image that Joe Boga got over there is coming from a school in Chicago. You see how they lying to the Liberian people? Joe Boga got an image here. You see it right here? That's how Joe Boga is lying to the people. He brought a picture here and posted it here. And said these students are from Liberia. Those students are not from Liberia, folks. They are not from Liberia. These are other people's students. Let it right here. See here? These students are not from Liberia. That's how Joe Boga is lying to the people. Yes, that's how he lying to the people. All right? That's how he lying to the people. That's how Joe Boga is lying to the people. This picture should be about Liberian kids. These are kids from the United States. Now, let me progress here again. Let's go back here again. Where did he get the other photo from again? Let's see where he got the photo from. All right? Maybe we could be wrong, but let's check the one out again. Now, let's go to Google search again. Let's search Google again. All right, open up here. So let's come down here again. You already know the drill. Joe Boga took the picture here from Good Samaritan and Honor Who administration. Right here, you see what? March 24, 2023. This is a project that George Weah, Honor George Weah administration, 2023. That's why Joe Boga took and put on his webpage here. This is coming under the George Weah administration. This is George Weah project that Joe Boga has taken. George Weah open way for Good Samaritan to come to the country and help our people. This is what we call partnership with other NGOs in the country. These people are in the country trying to help. But that's what Joe Boga did. And he decided to put this here. Now, let's look at this result here. Talk about tourism. You already know the drill. What do we do here next? We right click and then we'll come and say, let's search it by Google image. We click it and then we come down here. All right. And then we click over here and open it up. All right. What do we see here? March 7, 2020. This is under the same George Weah administration. This is a result somewhere on the Kennedy Highway. That's what Joe Boga is doing. He's taking all the people, taking them with all their consent and making it his own. And making it his own. I'm not here to support Joe Boga business, but I just want to tell you that when Joe Boga sold a safe very good to somebody, he had been a crook from day one. He had been a crook. Whatever Joe Boga is going to say to the people, it's not my message that he's going to lie. Stanton Witherspoon is a crook. Costa is a faker. Mo Ali is a faker. Eugene Fagon is a crook. All these people that are behind Joe Boca, do you think they are behind Boca for any reason other than their own self? Other than their own self? You think they will explore the webpage to show you what Joe Boca has done? But right, this webpage should have been showing you what Joe Boca has accomplished, right? The LPMC, the LPRC, the Ministry of Agriculture, everything that Joe Boca has done is what the page is supposed to be all about. But they didn't do it. They did not do it. They decided to show you guys fake page where people will just go and do their money. Let's make progress here. He talk about agriculture here, right? And he told the person he go agriculture. So let's click on the page and see where the photo image came from too. Let's click on this one here. And let's see where the one come from. All right. Let's click this here. Where is it coming from here? Let's see here. It's a climate change resilient agriculture. Where this thing is coming from? October 2020. This is coming from Rio de Janeiro. Let's see here. Where is he getting the other information from? This is an article here. All right? But it doesn't show anything where it shows that Joe Boca has actually, has done something for the people of Liberia. Joe Boca said he's a master of agriculture, right? So why isn't Joe Boca showing anything here? In fact, this thing here, let's click right here and see what the image says here. Roadmap to, when you click on the image, see me right here, I click on the image here, it says roadmap to, let's go back here. Roadmap to Nature Positive Foundation. Who is the Nature Positive Foundation? He copied something here and tried to make it of his own. This is not Liberia. This is a different country platform or a different organization platform he took here. The organization just updated their platform. You see here, September 13. That is what Joe Boca did. That is why there's nothing here that shows what Joe Boca has done here. Absolutely nothing. Nothing Joe Boca has shown here, folks. Nothing. Nothing Joe Boca. This is an okay. Let me see the contact here. This is an organization in Sweden. Let me turn the light also so you can see it good here. This is an organization here in Sweden. Why would Joe Boca go and copy somebody organization and come and put it on a page and talk about agriculture? Look here. That's why Joe Boca talking about agriculture here. In fact, let's look at the row here and see who belongs to the row. Let's check the other row all here too and see where the row coming from here too. Yeah, let's check the row all here. All right, Republic of Liberia. Let's see here. All right, Ministry of Public Work. Yeah, the row here. Yeah, the main row. The row here. You see the row right here? The very row here. There go the row right here. All right? There go the row right here. I hope you guys can hear me because I just got interrupted for call. All right, we should be okay. There go the row right here. All right, we should be okay. There go the row right here. Hold on, let me lower the thing here. All right, so this is Joe Boca right here, folks. He took that row. All right, let's find the source here. Let's look at the source of the row. It will give it to us shortly here. All right, key investment here. All right, let's go at the row right here. That's a web page here. But who owns the row? Who project is the row here? That right here. You see Liberia New Agency by Kwame? This is Kwame here, Liberia New Agency. This is where Joe Boca took the information from. President Weah government break ground for a 4-lane highway. You see, that's where Joe Boca took the road from. That is where Joe Boca took the road from. You see the image? This is not fair. But this is a man who will come and be condemning Josh Weah. This is a man who will come and be condemning Josh Weah. But you see in the photo image here, President Weah in 2020, all right? Let it right here, 2019, 2020, all right? This image of the road was posted in 2020. And the information is down here. So why would Joe Boca take this road and put it here? What else should we look for here again? Let's see where the police people coming from here. Let's see where the police people coming from here. You talk about rule of law. Let's see where the police people coming from here. Let's click here and see where the police people coming from here. And let's find the source of the police people in here. Where the people coming from? Liberian police here, 2015. Let's see what they were doing here. That's a fake page right there. That's a fake page. That's a fake page. That page is fake. I don't see it. I hope you can get that thing from the Ghanaian police. Because you see right here, the Ghanaian police here. I hope Joe Parker can get it from the Ghanaian police. Wow. I hope Joe Parker did not get it from the Ghanaian police. Let me click here small. Let's click right here and see. I think they make it from the Ghanaian police. Yes, they make it from the Ghanaian police page. Anyway, let's get rid of the thing here, folks. Let's turn our left back on. And let's come to Joe Parker page here. That's the man who say he want to be president of the country. Is there misleading the people? Look at the picture. Does the picture look like Joe Parker real picture? The answer is no. This is not Joe Parker real picture. That's not Joe Parker real picture there, folks. All right. Let's get to George Weah because we are pressed with time. Let's get to George Weah quickly here. All right. Let's get to the president of Liberia quickly here so that we can try to wrap this thing up. All right. So we are going to look at President Weah here too. All right. Let's get to look at President Weah. And I'm going to be very honest here, folks. Sinisian, we are finishing up with what his name? We are finishing up with Joe Parker now. We are coming up to George Weah here. So there go George Weah over there, folks. There go George Weah down there. All right. What do we know much about George Weah here? All right. Mr. Weah is president, but what did he say about his presidency? Let's listen to him here.
You gave me 6 year mandate. Now, give me my 6 years and see what I achieve. When you are not happy, when you go to the next election, you will decide what to do. The reason I'm saying this, we have a case study in this country. We know what happened. We wanted the president to go, but we did not know that it was going to affect us.
All right, so we have heard this over and over, but what I wanted you guys to see is we are now going into Mr. Weah's place, all right? So let's come to Mr. Weah here. All right, so Mr. Weah's domestic life is no different from what we went through. That is his personal life. This man grew up in Gibraltar, sell LA, do this, do that. But what I want to present to you guys is something that is very, very unique. I'm not going to be the one to tell you George Weah's story. So let's get into it. Let's get into it.
George Weah, President of Liberia. George Weah, in full George Opong Weah, born October 1, 1966, Monrovia, Liberia, Liberian football, soccer, player and politician. He was named African, European, and World Player of the Year in 1995, an unprecedented achievement. His talents on the field were equaled by his activism on behalf of his homeland, where he worked to bring an end to a long civil war and then became active in politics. Weah was elected to a Senate seat in 2014. He has served as President of Liberia since January 2018. Athletic career. Weah learned his football on the dusty streets of Monrovia before playing for Invincible 11, Mighty Barole, Bongrange Bongwini, and Young Survivors of Claretown. After leading Young Survivors, a team without a coach, into the First Division, Weah signed a 3-year semi-professional contract with top Cameroonian club Tonnerre of Yaoundé, which won its league in his first season, 1987, with the team. Shortly thereafter, the promising 22-year-old striker was signed by AS Monaco of the French First Division. In his 5 seasons with Monaco, 1987-92, he scored 57 goals, and the team won the French Cup in 1991. His exceptional dribbling and shooting skills made him a crowd favorite, and his uncompromising work ethic and technical ability landed Weah a lucrative contract with Paris Saint-Germain, PSG. In his most acclaimed season, He led PSG to the French Cup, to the league title, and to the semi-finals of the 1995 European Champions League. Subsequently he transferred to AC Milan, 1995 to 2000, in Italy's Serie A, helping the club win the 1996 and 1999 league titles. In January 2000 AC Milan loaned him to Chelsea of London, where he made an important contribution to that team's Football Association Cup triumph. At the end of his career, he played briefly with Manchester City and Marseille in France. Weah scored more goals and played in more matches than any other African professional in Europe. Though Weah established a new home for his family in New York City, he maintained close ties to Liberia, where he is known as King George, and enjoys considerable popularity. Liberia, racked by poverty and civil war in the 1990s, was able to sustain the Lone Star, the national team, only with the assistance of Weah, who played for, coached, and to a large extent financed the team. In 2002, after the Lone Star nearly qualified for the World Cup and then performed poorly at the African Cup of Nations, Weah retired from football. Political aspirations. Following the ouster of Pres. Charles Taylor in 2003, Weah returned to Liberia as a goodwill ambassador for the United Nations. In 2005 he ran for president of the country as a member of the Congress for Democratic Change, CDC, party. After winning the first round of voting, he was defeated by Ellen Johnson Sirleaf of the Unity Party, UP, in the runoff election in November 2005. Weah initially challenged the election results in court, but he dropped his case the following month. Weah faced Johnson Sirleaf again in the October 2011 presidential election, but this time as a vice presidential candidate running on the CDC ticket with presidential candidate Winston Tubman. Johnson Sirleaf and Tubman emerged with the most votes, but, as neither garnered a majority, a runoff election was held on November 8. Less than a week before the runoff, however, Tubman cited CDC complaints about irregularities in the first round of voting and withdrew from the race. He also urged his supporters to boycott the election. International observers, who had previously declared the first round of voting to be free and fair, said his allegations were unsubstantiated. Johnson Sirleaf was re-elected by a wide margin, although her victory was clouded by the withdrawal of the Tubman-Weah ticket from the race and by low voter turnout. In December 2014 Weah ran for the position of Senator of Montserrado County under the banner of the CDC. He handily defeated his nearest opponent, Robert Sirleaf, one of the president's sons, taking 78% of the vote to Sirleaf's almost 11%. 2 years later, in an effort to consolidate opposition strength in preparation for the 2017 elections, Weah's CDC merged with two other parties to form the Coalition for Democratic Change, CDC. Weah was the CDC's candidate in the October 2017 presidential election, with Jewel Howard Taylor, senator for Bong County and former wife of the ousted President Taylor, as his running mate.
There you have it, there, folks. I don't need to explain anything because you are dealing with someone who has made a record for himself. I'm not the one that wrote that. From his domestic or personal journey to his domestic, international, and professional. You can go into Google and put that man's name in there, it will come out. But there are key things I want to bring out here. One, let's start from the top. He served as vice presidential candidate to Winston Tubman after running against President Johnson Sirleaf in 2005. No political candidate, not Cummings, not Booker, not Ure, nobody in our country has done that. That tells you that they are very, very selfish when it comes to their greed for power. So we have returned to Liberia as what UNICEF Peace Ambassador under the banner of the UN to bring peace to Liberia. And how you think he got rewarded for that? Let's watch the other video here. Let's watch the other video. That's how he got rewarded. So let's go to that other video quickly. All right. Let's come to the video here so you can see how he got rewarded in that other video. I think this should be the video right here. Yes, this should be the video here. Ready for this one? Everything you just read and everything you just saw Let's watch that one right here and right now. Let me turn this thing around and then listen here. This man's record speaks for himself. It's very difficult for you to challenge this man's record.
Thank you very much. When Arthur Ashe found fame, he did not close his eyes. He did not forget the many who could not share his fortune. When Arthur Ashe found fame, he used the equity of his celebrity to shine a light on ignorance and spark global understanding. Tonight, we honor another man who found fame and who chose not to forget, another man who begs the world to see and to understand. His name, like his country, may not be well known on this side of the Atlantic, but we're talking about a giant. His name is George Weah of Liberia. George Weah is one of the greatest soccer players of our time, from a nation where chaos has been the rule and where children are born killers. Spit upon, his house burned, risking death over and over again, George Weah has nonetheless gone home again and again and again. His relentless message of hope defies reason in an age of mindless terror and bottomless hatred. But this is a man born to be a striker, born to finish what he starts. George Weah refuses to close his eyes, and George Weah will never, ever let us forget how much work there is left to do.
I'm 16 years old. I born 1988, October 20th.
Let me hold the video there and turn the thing around and ask you guys, all right? I told you guys that this election on the platform, we're going to look at individual character. We're going to look at their individual achievement and the issue. In how much you guys have seen this video, here's my question to you. Show me and tell me which one of the political leaders that have ever gone on the international stage, that include the UN, that include any type organization in Europe or the America or even in Africa, that have given the stage to introduce a Liberian politician that is today in the brace about what he or she did that had a significant impact in changing the direction of our country to the peace that we enjoy today, outside of George Weah. Not Cummings, not Boka. That is the message I want you to get from the video here. I'm not saying that Weah is perfect. Through all my times campaigning for Weah and even on my platform, I have criticized George Weah. But let's put the facts to where the facts belong. Whatever the man has done, it has been archived in history. Whatever he has not been able to do, it is also archived in history. Nevertheless, he is trying to do his second term. And there's nothing wrong with all challenging these things. But when you look at the people behind Cummings today, when you look at the criminals then behind Boka today, and you look at the inexperienced in majority behind George Weah today, which side will you want to go on? Which side will you want to go on? George Weah has a lot of inexperienced young people. Those young people can become experienced if George Weah decided to bring in more professional people to fix that problem. Why? Because so we have understand that every team will have inexperienced player and they will got senior player that will train them. But when you look at a party like the Unity Party that is in full support of an FBI indictee to be the one that run the affairs of the party financial operation, but will lie to you and say he's doing it for his own business, you are looking at another sanction coming to Liberia. And that's what Joe Booker is trying to bring into the whole thing here. Let's get back to the video before, oh, I forgot about my conclusion here. Let's get back to the video here quickly here. Let's get back to it.
Second, I was a leader. I was major. I used to lead 31 men every day to the front. Yeah, I'm tired of fighting now because there's no answer to war. I want peace for everlasting. I want for peace to be in the country for everlasting.
It began in 1980 with an assassination and violent coup d'etat. The government, in place for 133 years, was overthrown. And for over 2 decades thereafter, Liberia was overcome by civil war. Millions were displaced. The landscape was ravaged by poverty and disease. Hundreds of thousands were killed, including nearly an entire generation of children who had been drugged, beaten, and brainwashed to serve in the murderous campaigns of warlords.
The children here in Liberia have suffered enormously. Many of the kids, they've never done anything except hold an AK-47 and take lives.
We think maybe even up to 15,000 children have been involved in this war. They don't know where their mothers and fathers are, don't know where their brothers and sisters are. They are so angry about the war, they are so tired, they know the opportunities they've missed, and they want a future.
There was a light in Liberia that shined before and through the darkness. A game that offered a way to forget the war, and for one man, a way to rise above it altogether. George Weah grew up here, abandoned by his parents. He was one of 14 children raised by his grandmother. The only education he ever received was in the angles and artistry of soccer. His only classroom a dusty pitch near his home. And he quickly progressed from student to master of the game. His people would come to call him King George, a title befitting the greatest player Africa ever produced. Delivered into the net by Weah. He rose to stardom at home and then internationally. In 1995, he became the only man ever to win the African, European, and World Player of the Year awards in the same year. Famous, rich, and revered, he was distanced from his embattled homeland by miles and stature. When he called from afar for UN intervention, the consequence was immediate and personal.
Oh yes, his house was looted, his cousin raped, and other family of his were affected. And as a result, they fled, went into exile.
Liberia has been such chaos and confusion, and it has affected George. The scars are pretty deep.
In these years, it was very difficult for me, coming from practice every day, watching television, Liberia on the news, people running away, people dying. So what I said to myself was, look, what can I do to better this situation in my country? I felt that Liberia is my country. That's my country. I must come back.
In 1997, at the height of the war, George Weah did come back, welcomed as a conquering hero. He supported the national soccer team with over $2 million of his own money. As a player and coach, he led the Lone Star to within one win of a World Cup berth in 2001, reviving the pride and hope that had been lost in Liberia for over a decade.
Starting together, we have to finish it.
The team served as a unifying force in that time. Rebel groups, warring factions, Whenever Lungs are playing, we stop fighting and then we just go to the TV and do the radio.
But the war continued. Still, Weah did not retreat to the safety and celebrity of his athletic life. The world's greatest striker stayed home and made peace his priority.
George Weah kept sport prevailing, no matter what was happening in Liberia. And he knows that he has a chance, with his international stardom, to actually keep the focus here for us a bit longer.
In December of 2003, a truce was declared, and Weah's efforts in Liberia have extended to saving lives.
You guys can have a building for the children to go to school.
He now continues his struggle to restore the country, one child at a time.
Being with them, live with them, eat with them, play with them, I will know exactly what is going on. This is reality. I can run for reality. Every Liberian loves sports. So I know sports can play a vital role in the country, in our peace process, and sports can help to discipline the kids, to unify them. Where you go?
Through soccer, there's reconciliation, that you can work out aggression, you can work out competition, but you do it within a legitimized structure, that it's talent that ultimately makes the decision here. And that's why Weah is a symbol, that you can do it, that there is hope.
Peace to Liberia. Free education. The sound. I want to say thanks to you all. God bless you, and I'll always come back.
He came back because it was home. He stays because helping Liberia is now his life. Evil men had forced the children to act as weapons of war. An honorable man has invited them to serve as instruments of peace.
If you make a stand in this world, what you find is soon you aren't one man, you have a crowd around you. And I think that George has managed to rally people to the cause of peace, stability, and to the future of Liberia.
He represents the glory, he represents the aspiration, he inspires.
It's an overwhelming responsibility that he has, but he bears it very well. He came back at the time of disarmament, kept his promise. He's making other promises, and I know he will come back and keep those promises again.
The international community is here to help us. But what can we do for ourselves? What will we do to protect our nation? What will we do to educate our kids? What can we do to bring about peace within ourselves? That's the question. It's in my soul. It's in my blood. It's part of me. I can never give up on Liberia.
I can believe George because he's a man. A man do by a word. Yeah.
Free education. The sound. Peace to Liberia. Peace to Liberia.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to present this year's Arthur Ashe Award to George Weah.
I'm honored and grateful for this award. I won many awards in my time, but this is the greatest achievement of my life. Because it stands for true humanity. Standing beside me is Hilton, Hugo, and Princess Soiree. These beautiful people never met
eyes to eye. They always fought against each other. He fought at the age of 11. She fought at the age of 12. It's so devastating. The kids are here today to say to you people, they are innocent and are very sorry for the horrifying images they saw during our Liberia civil crisis. All they want today is to be educated, to be reintegrated into society so they can be people tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, let us find in our God-loving hearts to help the kids of the world, to help the kids of Liberia. Finally, I want to say to all the award recipients, congratulations. God bless you all. I love Liberia. Liberia forever. Thank you.
You know, I always tell people what happened in Liberia today, the younger generation tend to forget about it. But the reason I decided to play this, and I see my sister Simaya asking all these questions, you imagine that people on the ground who are supposed to teach the young people about where Liberia was and why we are to where we are today. Our sister Simaya here, she's an American who chose to watch the platform. But her understanding about war and who were there to be the hero, those are things that are not taught in our society. And that's why she's asking this question of the political leaders today. When the guns were in charge of the country, the UN, they did not look for Boka. The UN did not look for commies. In fact, these guys were far away from the country. It was only we, as you can see, as old as the video is, the peace that you guys see other people enjoying today, causing that man every day, that is where it started. The UN could not bring peace. You listen to the UN diplomats, you listen to the American diplomats, they said with all that men, there were not going to be peace. And that men were brought to Washington, to the United States, Los Angeles, and people, movie stars, remember him and will forever remember him. But who else can you think about too? That's why I keep asking this question. You see, what the politicians are doing today, they are taking the mistake that have harmed that country and processing it into emotional attack against George Weah. Like in this country, certain class of white people will look at the poorer white people and say, you're blaming the black people, they won't take in your job. And that's how you see sometimes skirmishes between white and black people taking place. That is what the politicians are doing in the country. Just under 6 years, what the president has done is not perfect. But the 14-year or Civil War, the 12-year of Ellen, Boca they now coming up and want to tell the Liberian people that, oh, Mr. Weah did not do the right thing, so he needs to go. But I want to remind Liberians, where were they? Where were these people? Where were these people when the country was at war? Where were they? Where were they? And that's why this video, I love this other video here. Let's listen to this one.
You gave me 6-year mandate. Now, give me my 6 years and see what I achieve. When you are not happy, when you go to the next election, you will decide what to do.
Very good. So, is Liberian willing to go again? That video is my masterpiece. You gave me 6 years. Take the Denzel Washington video and take the one you just listened to and keep it. Because whether Mr. Weah's 6 years ends or he continues for another 6 years, That video and the Denzel Washington video should be your record. Because in time to come, you will come right back to the video and you go back to Denzel Washington video. And all the other politicians that you see today, you'll be able to judge them. This election is very critical. I was in that war. I experienced that war. And I came out of that war, but knowing very well that there are people I left back there that are struggling today. Those you see masquerading around here, many of them did not experience that war. Many of them did not experience that war, especially the Congo people children. They never went through that war. But they are the ones today that going back to the Liberian children that were running away from the bullet and telling them that we are not this, we are not this. But you don't have one single video of them trying to bring peace to Liberia. Sometimes I often say that Liberians, we are the problem ourselves. We create our own problems. The reason for that is lack of ignorance. Imagine what you just saw, and then you got somebody come in the country here and decide to start to sell fake documents. Listen to how Denzel Washington introduced Joshua, a man that never had opportunity, but managed to use soccer as his way to educate himself and get up there. You got somebody that Stanton Witherspoon who came in this country here on his parent account, but came here and cannot even cross an associate degree, but decided to cut shortcut. That man is nothing but a criminal, and those who follow that man, I pray for them and their children. Because the demonic behavior that is in Stanton Witherspoon, he is trying to pass that behavior to some of these people, and perhaps it might get into their family, and some of their children might be affected by that. Stay away from those people. When you come from a country where things are challenged, like you want to be like the Nigerian, the Kenyan, the Sierra Leonean, the Ghanaians, when they come to foreign country, they compete. They compete because they know they are in a territory, they are in a country where they want to make their country proud. When we are stood on our platform or on our stage, everybody got to recognize Liberia from that day forward. When you look at Boka today, what video can you show of Boka? Who out there recognize Boka? Who out there recognize Cummings? Without we are coming to the UN to bring peace, these people were never going to be around. That's why I don't waste my time behind Cummings. That's why I'm not wasting my time behind Boka, but telling you all the truth about Boka. Boka, who said he served in power for 45 years. Why couldn't Boka come out when the election fee open for the first time to say, you know what, I serve as Agriculture Minister on do. I got 45-year experience. I'm running for president. Why Boka couldn't do it but go honor Ellen, who did not like Samuel Kanyando, but Boka worked for Ellen. And he worked for Samuel Kanyando. This is a man that don't have no vision for himself. He has no vision for himself. And that's the man people running behind today. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to say a big thank you to every one of you guys. We will repeat the video here tonight. There will not be any show tonight. So around 7:30 to 8 o'clock, this video will be uploaded to be put on YouTube. So if you miss it, well, join us again. We'll be simulcasting the video here again. Until then, God bless you. Enjoy the week. Take care of yourself. Let's watch what's going on. I would like to say thank you to you guys. Those of you who God tells you how to send money, it's okay. I know Liberian people, you're only like wicked people. Not my people watching me here. But many Liberians, I think after that war, some type of demon just jumped into certain people and they are in the country. They will see the good guy. They will not respect the guy. It happened to Costa. When Costa came here, he said, oh, my transmitter got broken. The transmitter never got broken. But Liberian people took money and gave it to them. The Yasin you see today, she took $700 and donated it herself. But today, Yasin cannot go back down. But she running to Liberia and telling people, oh, Joe, we are this. Cummings Cummings will never be president in that country. Telling you that now. Because the people behind Cummings, they see the evil and they approve the evil. They see the evil and they approve the evil. Costa, who lived under Joshua, came to this country and tried to lie on Joshua. And Yasini, who talking for for Boga today, for Cummings today, took $700 and donated it to a lie that Costa told. And today, Costa T is between his legs. They are tossing by the wayside now. That the criminal today down they are behind. Liberians, some of your brothers and sisters prefer criminal or intellectual people. That is a serious problem for the future of our country. When you get people in America here, they're working in this country, they're respecting the women rules. But when it comes to looking at what is fair, in the fairness of what they think they're enjoying, they always go and make the wrong decision. That is not a political problem for George Weah. It is a problem for Liberia. The people in this country who are Liberians, there are two kinds here. There are Liberians who live in the United States of America. Those people are the ones who follow what America say. The other group of Liberians that live here, they live in the community of Liberia, and they think they're Liberian and they do think they're Liberian. That is why you saw Stanton Witherspoon Stanton Witherspoon being announced on national news that he saw fake documentation. He saw fake documentation and he had been indicted. And he went to the court a few months later and said, yes, I'm guilty. And the people said you're going to lose your property that you got while you're doing the business or any other thing. And you're not going to be able to vote in the country. You'll not be able to do anything and you cannot leave the country here. Yet, with all those things the white man law puts down, your brothers and sisters then decided to say, you know what? We live in America, but we got what Liberian waste in us. We ain't care for what the people say. We will give that man money. Matter of fact, the same way, the same money line the man use the phone number, we're going to give money through that same line. If that is not illiteracy at the highest, I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. And that is why I always say, we enjoy Liberia now, but to say that Liberia will be better. It's just like you in your car, you sit that in your car, you open the car, you walk around the car. Oh, your car looking nice. But when will the car move? No, the car not moving until 2065. You sitting there in your country, you abroad, you think you got a country, and you're looking forward to the new year, the other year. Our country is not ready to move. The car sitting down there, the new year can't meet the car there, another year can't meet the car there. Why are we not going to move anytime soon? Because you will imagine the people who came to this country, they will be the one to open the eyes of our brothers and sisters back there to help them. After World War II, many Israelis came back to America. They established themselves and decided to help their brothers and sisters in Israel. Today, Israel is listed among the 23 most powerful countries in the world. Because the diaspora, that word diaspora, it came from the Israelis. The Israelis were the one who crafted that word diaspora. Israeli diaspora is the #1 diaspora that ever established that word. The reason they created that word, because many of them who migrated from Germany and came here after World War II, they're like, our brothers and sisters that cannot come to the U.S., they are in Israel. We will establish the Israeli diaspora affair and we put money together and help them. Today, the people back home, they are standing on their feet in Israel. Liberians come to this country. They saw the war. They know who played major role in the war. The women had taught us how to look at things critically, logically, and make our own common sense. When it comes to us giving our mentor of leadership to make decisions, we always make the wrong one. To see people calling on Stanton show and giving our men money, It was like Satan came down on earth and said, God, I told you that I got the people in my control. All the people on the planet here, majority of them going to hell. That's how I took that thing yesterday. A man who, and you can now walk into a bank to go borrow money. A man who the police will pull over and will not have nothing to do but to open the system and I will go like this. That is the man that Liberians in this country are behind and worshiping today. That's the man they call their hero. Do you think with that man with that kind of record, if your employer get to know that you associate yourself with that man, you think they're going to trust you with any credit card of the company? You think they're going to trust you to say, let my wallet here, let me go use the bathroom? They're not going to trust you. But that's how Liberians are today. That is our people. We cannot control it. We can only help. You know, there are some people who are bound to live in poverty and die in poverty because they have made up their mind to go that route. Let me be honest with you guys here today. We can do all the talking here. There are some Liberians back home today. They are living. They are not yet born. They are little. Based on their parents' decision, based on their own decision, they will live in poverty. Or let's say they will be born in poverty and they will die in poverty. We cannot control that because they have made up their mind. They have made up their mind to make the wrong choice. We cannot help it. That is the reality of life. We can sit here all day. You can try to share the video here. Some of them have been marked to be born in poverty and they will die in poverty. They will see the things that make other people's life better. But they will just decide to say, you know what? That's it. That's why people can call marked for death. Some of them have been marked for death. You tell them the truth. There are some Liberians today in the country, no matter what we say, their mind, their brain have been blacked out from the truth. They think they're doing, they believe in those things. And there's nothing going to offset their minds to say, wake up, this is wrong. They're not going to see it that way. And that's just how it is. That's why today, they always say 20% of the people on the face of the planet, they rule the 80%. And you think that all the 20% people are good people? No. When you see a guy who is about to go to jail, and in this country he has been caught with wire fraud and Liberian men, some of them are not afraid to do business with this guy. That is a concern for you, characteristically speaking, from Liberia. So don't get vexed one day when somebody look at you and say, are you a Liberian? And then you ask them, but why? Maybe what your brother and sister did by supporting a criminal yesterday, perhaps they saw it. And when they say, are you a Liberian? You say, yeah, they're just trying to check out to make sure you are, so they can start to govern themselves. We are in serious trouble in this country, not to mention on Facebook. We are in serious trouble. To see Liberians supporting a man who the FBI and the federal government say he is a corrupt guy and he is a criminal. To see Liberian people giving that man money, we have a serious problem in this country. And don't make no mistake when your fellow African telling you that you got work for them. Don't get vexed with them. Una say our country contains a bunch of illiteracy and it is affecting us. But I'm not part of that. So you and I will have to defend our character in this country because those people are already stereotyping us. They are already marking us that we don't care about what happened in this country. Whoever did something wrong here, we support them. What they were showing yesterday to the authority that we support this guy. Whatever he did in the country, we support him. That is the message your brothers and sisters who were supporting that man platform yesterday, that is the message they sent to the American audience yesterday, including the authority in this country. That we support this man. Yesterday, man committed crime, fine. We support him. We'll give him our money. And that bring into question our character as Liberian. That put us into a position where people start to watch us now. Have you heard it saying one apple spoil the rest of the apple? That's what the guy is doing. This guy is going down. But because he know that there is a handful of Liberians in this country, he will try to use his platform to drag many Liberians into his belief. And many of the people are going there. So by indirect impact, they are affecting us. They are affecting us. They are doing things that will affect us. Make no mistake, some Americans who know the case very well, they will look at that thing and say, but the Liberian people supporting this guy. So don't be surprised one day when somebody asks you, do you guys support this guy that going to jail? Don't frown your face. Don't look at them funny. Take a deep breath and be able to explain what you're learning from here. That's what your brother did. The impact will not take place now, but it will be a long-term impact. The day you least expect it, that when somebody will come and hit you with that information, please just compose yourself. We are a country that prefers people who are criminal over people who are good. Until then, God bless you guys. Have yourself a great day. Children is out of here. And I think we will come out this evening with a video. We'll run the video maybe till midnight or not to midnight till whatever time it is, we'll run the video. All right? The last comment said, you are right. A friend asked me yesterday, I said, why? There we go right there. There we go right there. This guy they call Moneybag, I didn't don't know. He said his friend asked him. Well, Moneybag, whole Sunday you will tell all the story. But that time is coming. Americans are very smart set of people. People judge people in this country by the content of their character. People live a good life in this country by their image. That is, you have to be a good citizen in the community. You have to be a good customer in the eyes of the consumer. And you have to have a very good relationship with the law in this country. Those three things will help you to be a respectful person in this country. When you are taking other people's money to enrich yourself, you are not considered a better person in this country. And those are the people that Liberians are supporting, some of them, not all Liberians. Some of them are supporting, and that's why my brother Moneybag or my sister Moneybag just said that the question came to him or her. It's just the beginning. They will still be going there. They're not going to stop. Because they think that we are at competition. That's what they think. Oh, the man said it tomorrow, we're going to go get more money. They are only trying to embarrass you and I in this country. So instead of trying to fight for equality in this country, we are going to also be fighting for character identity now as one people. You're African, yes. Can you do the job? Yes. Oh, but hold on there. You guys had a guy from your country who carried on some financial fraud. Yeah, but he and myself not together. We don't live together and stuff like that. I don't know him from nowhere. He's a Liberian. That is the identity crisis we're going to be fighting for here. Yes. That is what we're going to be fighting for here. Yes. All right. So until then, God bless you guys. Take care. I'll see you guys around.